The sky so far, but I can't lose it.
Good evening, denizens, and welcome to Session 1 of our Scion Demigod tale. I am your humble chronicler, Tyler, EldritchEchoes Online, bound by fate to tell the tale of these mighty heroes. I'll be your story guide for this awesome adventure. We are Vorpal Tales, and we have a variety of both terrifying tales and awesome adventures that we play for all of you most days of the week. Our cast of aspiring demigods are here, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Tell us who you are, how people can find you online, and who you're playing. Start with Sean, as always.
I'm at Space Lord PJ's, Sean. I am playing El Pupo Morte, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So at first I thought you were going to tell us to say who we are and why.
I'll do that next time. That's a good one.
Oh God!
So Sean, tell us. Why are you?
Tell us why.
Why are you?
Why am I? Well, you see, my mom and my dad really
Okay, Ever, take over.
So, on that note, I hatched. Just to let you know, I don't actually exist in this realm. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so you can find me on the internet as Changeling Ever. My pronouns are they, them, and you can call me Ever. Tonight, I will be playing Samir Rivera, and you'll find out a little more about him later.
Dwayne.
Hey guys, I'm Dwayne. You guys can find me at Made of Kimchi on the internet. Tonight I will be playing Takahiro.
Devin.
Hi, my name's Devin. You can find me online at Sorta Sullied, and my character is a created hybrid of a living entity and the world tree. And you'll find out more about my character in a little bit.
Last but not least, Tim.
Hey everyone, I am Tim. You can find me online at Othellos99, and I am playing Eric Squizgar. You will find out all about him later on.
Now that you know who we are, shameless plug time. Please remember, follow the Onyx Path on Twitch. Follow Vorpal Tales on Twitch. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Both the Onyx Path and Vorpal Tales keep the archive of all past episodes where you can catch up on all the other awesome tales you may have not seen yet. Leave comments. Come check out both of our Discords. You can find Vorpal Tales Discord at our website, vorpaltales.com. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Reddit at Vorpal Tales. Come hang out at our Discord, talk about horror and high adventure. And lastly, if you'd like to sub to the Onyx Path or Vorpal Tales on Twitch, which I see Creepy Shootin' already did, thank you very much. This is September, which means if you sign up for more than 1 month at a time, you'll get a discount. Go check it out. Alright, now we're here to check out a new Kickstarter game. So, if you haven't checked out the Kickstarter, which I'm guessing most people in this room probably have, you should. The link will show up periodically in the chat room tonight. It was actually funded in 2 hours, and that's because this game is sexy hot. It's currently powering its way through stretch goals, and it'll be, what is this, 1 weekend? Yeah, 1 weekend, so we still got 3.5 weeks to go, so you can jump on board. Special thank you tonight to Onyx Path Publishing for always being awesome to people who play their games. And to you, Neil, because you're in here watching, we will endeavor not to ruin your awesome game. And to Astral Tabletop for providing the virtual tabletop we use to roll bones and play our awesome soundtracks. And last but not least, thanks to my brother at N8Mid for an endless list of custom Astral Tabletop character sheets, including this one. Now with all that out of the way, let's go forge some legends. Scion, for those of you who don't know, is a game about gods and humanity and everything in between. It's a game about mythic deeds and the reasons why people talk about those mythic deeds. It's also about modernity. The world today is a very different place than anything our ancestors could ever have conceived. The game itself encompasses 4 core books: Origin, Hero, Demigod, this one, and eventually, God. Each one defines and expands the setting and some of the primary pantheons. They also detail the primary player character type, which of course are Scions, climbing in power and legend until they themselves become gods. We lost Devin. Devin went boom. You've returned.
Oh no. Camera malfunction.
But as we said, this is a game that builds upon previous editions, which means Scion Demigod is not a complete game unto itself. It needs Origin to explain the core system, the story path system, and Hero to expand on those themes and add the next power level you need prior to Demigod. Hero details the Scions after the visitation that introduces them to the divine world. They are exceptional humans blessed with luck and skill, or cursed with ill fortune and strange trials in their lives, armed with divine gifts and accompanied by strange beasts and powerful immortals. That book explains how to fully create heroic Scions, which is the stage we have pre-created for this game, and includes rules and information on the various denizens and legendary creatures who match and equal them, as well as the foes who oppose them. We will actually be going through how the game works and having the player characters level up to Demigod live, so all of you can see the awesome new things you'd be getting in the new supplement. The gods performed deeds of great import and valor, which filtered into the epic folklore of humankind to inform cultures and create religions. Each tale is a memorable event. Each carries within it one of the fundamental truths espoused by the cultures in question. Each tale shows the precarious relationship between gods and mortals. You are the one who walks between mortal and immortal, between human and god. You players are of both worlds. You are Scions. In this world, gods exist, and people know about it. It is still superficially and somewhat fundamentally similar to our world, but there are major differences. This is a place where the gods are not constantly active, because if they were constantly active, a process called fate binding would ruin their day. But they do still remind everyone that they're here, and they do work through their avatars in the world and through their Scions. So of course this means people know it's a thing, so you're not just talking about who you saw on reality TV and what juicy things are going on with your favorite actors and actresses at the water cooler at work. You're talking about what Coyote did to mess up downtown Chicago last week, too. The world also is more than just the world. When you say the world in Scion, you're talking about capital W. It means this place, this part of reality. There's also realities above and below, the underworld, heaven, places in between, strange places that you can accidentally stumble into if you find the right key, demiplanes, and of course Terra Incognita, where all of the fantastic things from myth and legend are given physical form. So, the gods are real, and so are their nemesis, the Titans. The Titans are endlessly trying to break free, and when their power leaks into the world through the cracks they put into their prisons, they can create Titan spawn or even their own Scions, your nemeses. There are 4 types of Scions in the game. There are born Scion, those of course who are created by the coupling of a god and a human. Created Scions, maybe you were carved out of a tree and given life. Chosen Scions, maybe you somehow exemplified something so close and perfect to the god that they chose to give you power. And incarnate Scions, who may be reincarnated versions of a dead god or past Scions of a dead god. So let's talk about what each of you are, so you can tell the audience what they'll be watching. Starting with Sean while I fix Devin's camera. Oh nope, you went back to the right spot, you're good. Sean, go!
What am I saying?
Kind of Scion are you?
What kind of Scion am I? Like where I was born from?
Are you born, created, incarnate?
I was
or chosen?
I was created from a star.
And who's your pantheon?
My pantheon is Teodal.
And which god created you from a star?
It's Papalotl.
The obsidian butterfly.
The obsidian butterfly. That's kind of why I chose it, because that name is dope.
Alright. What about you, Dwayne?
I am a choosed Scion.
Who is your pantheon and which god chose you and why?
Of the Kami pantheon, and Inari is the god. I was choosed because I was one of the devout monks watching over one of the shrines for many, many years. I haven't been there in many, many years since then, but I had pretty much spent
missions.
I've pretty much spent up until then my entire life devout to that temple.
Tim, what about you? You may be muted.
Damn technology.
Carry on.
I am a chosen scion of Tyr of the Aesir, the Old Norse gods, and I was chosen because I ran headlong without any concern for myself to go save a bunch of hostages as an ex-SWAT officer.
Ever.
Sometimes. Oh no, that's not the answer you wanted. Sorry.
42.
42 is always the answer. It's the answer to life, the universe, and everything. But in this case, it's the wrong answer. So, my character was chosen by the Apu, or collection of South American gods, and I decided to focus my character on, in specific, the Peruvian deities to honor my stepmother, Esperanza. Real life stepmother, not game stepmother. So, chosen
But also,
because...
didn't mean to interrupt you, but also, this is a good moment to mention, because Ever has chosen that particular path, that is actually still a living but currently dying language and religion. I want to take a moment to talk about that. Feel free. The real life analog.
Oh, so a little bit of real life here. There are still living people who speak the pre-Spanish native Peruvian and actually native Mexican as well languages in little pockets all over South America and Central America. And noticing that this particular game likes to focus on these different unique cultures, I'd like to mention that if you have a chance to read up on them, read up on their history, their culture, you know, what happened during the takeover by the conquistadors, and try and find foundations that help preserve the language and culture of, in specific for me, Peru is Quechua. And then for Mexico, it's Nahuatl, which is the language that was around during the Aztecs. So Quechua was around during the Incan times. If you get the chance to research these and try and find foundations that help preserve these cultures, the people are very much in need of various medical things, education items. So if you can look them up and take the time to maybe give or share that information, that would be really cool. It'd be cooler if you did.
Devin.
My character was, as I said earlier, created. Loki, in particular, of the Norse Aesir pantheon, because who else would defile the world tree by breaking off a piece of it to create their own entity and try and have that as their own? But Loki.
Excellent. Okay. Next, we're going to touch on the system a little bit. This is Scion. Sorry, I saw chat. This is a story path game. Most of the people in our game, our player characters, know what that is, but not all of them have been exposed to it for long, and not necessarily everyone in the audience has. So, we're going to touch on the primary important bits. So, in story path, much like most Onyx games, you create a dice pool of d10s to resolve things. But it is quite different from Chronicles and World of Darkness in several ways. One of which, defense and attacking are different. So, in Scion in particular, and in story path in general, but it all varies a little bit from game to game, when you're attacked in combat, your defense is not static. You're going to roll it, and then you can use your successes on the roll to determine what you want to do. There are a couple of stunts you can take, much like all story path games. When you exceed the number of successes you need to complete an action, you can use the enhancements to buy stunts. Defensive stunts are like jump out of the way, dive for cover, or you can use your successes to set a static defense number that creates a complication for the attackers. The attacker must roll one success plus your defense number to overcome that to hit you. Questions on that from the party? Okay.
Nope.
Bad guys don't really roll, they just have a set stat, and I use them as necessary. Or else we take way too long. When you hit a target, you automatically get 1 free inflict damage stunt, if you want, which gives them an injury. If you want to add more, you can add 1 extra inflict damage stunt, and or 1 critical hit stunt for each enhancement you have over the initial attack amount, but that's it. Any other enhancements you have in Scion must be used to buy other stunts in play. So in this game, you're going to get less the guy who's good at punching always beats the bad guys while the rest of you stand around, and more the guy who's good at punching is constantly harrying the bad guys, so those of you not as good at fighting can actually help win the battle. Less one-sided. I like it. If you have scale, though, you can add an extra damage enhancement stunt for every degree or rank of scale you have, which we'll get to in a minute. So yes, the base system is roll your dice, get a number of successes equal to 1 plus any complications. Any excess become enhancements you can use to buy stunts. If you fail your roll, you add momentum to the pool, because that replaces willpower in this game. Everybody gets access to the momentum pool to do all kinds of cool stuff we'll talk about later. If you critical fail, which is a botch, meaning you got no successes and you rolled some 1s, you get 2 enhancements you can add to the pool. Scale. A note on scale. This comes up in all Story Path games, but is going to come up a lot in this game. Scale represents a sizable gap in raw power or scope between 2 things. Many supernatural beings operate on a level entirely above normal humans, and exceptional equipment can do the same thing, so could large armies or a tank versus a car. Anything where one thing way outclasses the other. Or in your case, where your little fist hits like a tank, because you're a demigod. So, whenever you have scale, the same number of successes has an increased value to it, is what happens. So, if you rolled 1 enhancement at like scale 4, it would actually be treated as if you had 8 enhancements to the roll. I will share the chart with you for the players in Discord so you can see it. But since a lot of your powers and abilities will increase scale, you'll understand why that matters. This is how a demigod can accidentally punch over skyscrapers and break tanks. I am putting those charts in there now. The thing I mentioned previously where I said 1 extra damage enhancement to cause injury per rank of scale, that's the numbers on the left, not the narrative multiplier. Sorry. Also, some kinds of scale generate shockwave, which means the effect ripples out and hits things in an AoE. Keep that in mind too. Okay.
I like how it just goes, the narrative goes number, lots.
Yep, scale times 6, lots. Okay.
That's how you do it on purpose.
Momentum! What grants momentum? Consolation from a failed roll, +1. I can grant consolation for a failed roll a number of ways. Momentum would be the most often because it's easy. There are other ways too. Minor benefits I could give you, because failing doesn't mean it's the worst. There's always a little consolation prize in this system. Second way is failing a specialty. That is automatically momentum. I don't choose it to be momentum from the list. And that means if you have a skill with a specialty on it, and you fail to roll while using that specialty. And of course, botching, +2, momentum to the pool. Certain acts, divine relics, or purviews can additionally grant momentum. If that comes up, you'll know. Since I customized all your relics, none of your relics do, but it doesn't mean there are others that you may run into that won't. All of you can spend momentum with the agreement of the group in the following ways. Add dice. 1 extra die per point of momentum to your dice pool before you roll, cannot say afterwards. Add intervals. You can spend 3 momentum to add an extra time interval to a complex action that takes multiple turns or scenes. This can be good if you're starting to fail and you're close to your deadline. And activate knacks. This last one is the one where you don't need permission. If your knack requires momentum to spend and there's momentum in the group pool, you can just spend it. If you want to add intervals or dice, though, ask the party. Majority vote carries. Initiative. Initiative in this game is cunning plus your best combat-related skill rolled as a pool, which is different than Chronicles of Darkness, which we do a lot. So it is actually a dice pool in this one, Sean. So one more time. Cunning plus best combat-related skill. After all the players roll initiative, you will decide as a group which of you takes which slot. Just because Ever rolls the highest doesn't mean Ever has to take the first slot. I will also be carrying over a Chronicles of Darkness flavor rule because I like it, wherein once we determine initiative, the slowest people will declare the actions they're going to take first, up the order to the fastest. Since technically, when you're in a turn, we take turns, but everything's happening at once. The faster people can react better to the slower people. Questions on any of that? It's all pretty basic. Okay. I am going to throw the defensive stunts into Discord also, just so anyone who wants to note them has them. These are the ones that are not just make it harder for me to hit you. This game also has mixed actions, so if you try to do lots of things at once, it splits your dice pool. We're going to actually deal with that when it happens, but for anyone who's curious, you can pull out the Scion Origin book and find those rules on page 62. This game also uses conditions when bad things happen. When you get knocked out, or you get sick, you get diseased, or you get terrified. Those are all conditions. The condition will have what it does, when it triggers, and what it takes to get rid of it. And also, typically, if you get a benefit when it happens. Those are all on page 66 of the Origin book if you want to look those up. Okay. Things that change from hero. Immediate changes we're going to deal with before we get into the demigod power stuff. Basically, we are simulating, in order to be a demigod, you need to have Legend 5. We built you as heroes to get you used to the system, so you're at Legend 1. I'm going to bring you to Legend 6, because you've been demigods for a short while. That means you went through 5 Legend cycles. That means the entire group completed short-term they're not called aspirations. Oh, well, someone help me out, it's on the sheet.
Wands?
Deeds.
Deeds.
Yeah.
Short-term deeds, long-term deeds, and the group deed. You've all completed that cycle for the group and all of you as individuals 5 times since you created the character. That means things change, you get more stuff. Right off the bat, you get to add 2 dots to 2 separate attributes, so 1 dot each. 1 dot, 1 attribute, 1 dot to another. You can't put 2 in 1. Do that now. And then you can let the audience know, just for fun, what you added to and what that makes your new attribute stat.
Where are we putting the dots?
These are your attributes. So, the 9 attributes, not the skills.
How many dots?
Sweet.
2, but you can only do 1 and 2 separate ones. You can't do 2 in 1.
Okay.
Doesn't matter which 2, though.
Well,
For people watching, the game will have the base level 5 legends, how much stuff you get. Which, in the case of the book, is you get 1 attribute dot, immediately a legend 5, in addition to what hero would have given.
Very cool.
This simulates some purchased XP.
I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 to Dex, bringing it up to 3 from 2.
Okay.
And then gonna bring up Might to 2 from 1.
Good choice. That was your weakness, yes.
I did cunning 2 to 3, and then did stamina 4 to 5.
Okay.
I increased stamina up to 5, and I upped my might up to 2 because that was my weak point.
Okay. Whilst
Okay,
Tim...
Hugo.
Oh, go ahead.
Went might up to 3 and presence up to 3.
Nice.
And I went resolve to 4 and stamina to 4.
Nice. Since stamina came up a lot, also, you get 3 basic health levels that you can see on the character sheet, the last 3. Actually, might be 4. Double checking.
3.
The ones that actually have things listed. So you'll have... you'll have the first dash, and then the 3 that actually have letters next to them before you get to taken out. However,
bruised, injured, and maimed.
it's maimed, mauled, right. And then I'm also giving you the first dash above that, because you know me, I like hard monsters. In addition, anyone whose stamina is 3 gets another bruise, and anyone whose stamina is 5 gets yet another bruised. So those of you who put your stamina to 3, you'll have 5 health levels. The rest of you that had it at 5 will have 6. This would not include armor or defense or superpowers. This is just base. So what's your stamina, Dwayne?
4.
So you actually have 2 extra bashing health levels. So under health, where it's just a dash above the B, for the 2 lines above it, just put a B in there.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Next thing that happens is 4 points for skills. Put them anywhere you want. And don't forget you need new specialties if you take any skills to 3 or higher that we're not already.
Oh, good.
These can stack if you want them to.
How many points did you say?
3 or 4.
3.
Sorry.
4.
4?
And Devin, because of your birthright, you can actually just, instead of putting a B in one of those blank ones, just put a M.
Okay.
And you won't check that till last. It'll look weird if I look at it, but I'll know why.
Well, no, it's I get additional slots, so I'd actually have. Wouldn't that make it?
You get a bunch of extra brews, but you also get an extra maim. Yeah, you're going to have more health than everyone else.
Okay, then
Whatever it says you should have, which we'll go over for the audience when we get to birthrights, add them all, just use the right first letter for the word.
Got it.
I need 2 specialties.
And Space Lord, while you're looking at yours, the audience has been asking about your cool sugar mask. You want to tell them a little bit about where you got that from and why? Not the whole thing yet, just a blurb.
Not the whole thing. Yeah. So when Tyler was like, "Hey, you want to play this game?" I was like, "Yeah, cool." He's like, "Hey, it's got the Mexican gods." I was like, "Well, I'm a luchador, and we're going with that." So, yeah. I'll eventually give the full background here in a bit.
Yeah, your deity is the black or the obsidian butterfly, right?
Yeah.
I'll try and pronounce it for the audience.
It's Papalato.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. It's not like I only read it 15 times.
Oh gosh. Oh.
I would like to point out too, the origin book is very handy that way. I mean, the hero book, I'm sorry. They have whole sidebars for pronouncing the names properly so that you can not mess it up and look like an asshat. Well, thank you for that, Onyx Path.
Unless you're me and you always look like an asshat.
But yeah, not going to spoil too much for Sean's background, but it is a sugar mask, but for him it's also his luchador mask, and luchadors never take their mask off.
Yeah, when I went searching, I was just like, I tried looking up luchador masks, and COVID reasons, you can't buy them now. And so I was just like, all right, I'll just print one out, I'll color it, it'll be fine. It'll be cool.
And we're saying out loud which ones we added.
Yeah,
For
let the
skills.
audience know.
Well,
Oh.
I decided to just boost up 4 separate skills that I already had. I kind of like min-maxing a little bit. That's why I now have raised my occult to 5, persuasion up to 4. My academics is now at 4, and I raised my integrity because figured I'm part of the world tree. I should have a little bit more than 1 dot in that.
Well, I mean, considering who your dad is.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite of him. That's the reason I have integrity.
Put 1 into athletics, 1 into empathy. So athletics is at 5, empathy is at 4. I think I put 1 more into integrity, so that raises it to 4. And then 1 more to persuasion, which puts it at 4.
Okay.
I put 1 in athletics to 5, 2 in subterfuge to 2, and then 1 in technology for 1.
Okay.
I put 1 into medicine, bringing me up to 3. Athletics, I put 1 up to 3. Close combat is now up to 4. And my culture is maxed. I am the culture man.
Nice.
So I went ahead and upped my academics from 3 to 4. I raised my empathy from 2 to 3. Integrity from 2 to 3. And then... Oh no, where'd I add that other dot? Oh, leadership. I raised it from 3 to 4.
Awesome. Feel like we're still missing somebody.
The luchador.
No, Sean went first, I think.
And Dwayne, what did you add for your specialty for medicine now that you have 3?
Acupuncture.
I have a specialty in stabbing people for my medicine.
Yeah, for medicine, I'm going to take acupuncture. For athletics, I'm going to take acrobatics. And I already have 1 for close combat and culture. My close combat is sword play.
Okay. So, now that we're past the base stuff, let's talk about new and adjusted action-adventure character rules, for being a demigod. Because demigods enjoy a host of bonuses as a result of favoring divinity over mortality. The ichor that burns in your veins grants you extraordinary skills even when you don't directly invoke supernatural power. Everything is changing because of your coming apotheosis. Speaking of which, it really is ichor when you're a demigod now too. Whenever your legend is on fire, in use, being dramatic, and you actually get hit, you won't bleed red. You'll bleed ichor. So, first thing that changes, and this is automatic in the character sheet, you don't have to worry about it. Story Path system has static success. You always need to roll 8 or higher to succeed. It's 7 or higher again now for you because you're demigods permanently. Effects with 8 or 9 again don't upgrade though. They're still 8 or 9 again. That means the dice explode when you roll an 8 or a 9 instead of just a 10. However, rolling a 7 is a success for you. The knack Scent the Divine, which I've made sure to tell you guys not to buy, you all now have automatically. And it does not use up any of your knack slots.
Oh,
So you just get the free knack, Scent the Divine.
I read that too.
It's one of the general knacks. Not tied to a specific calling.
Scent as in smell?
Yes.
Yep.
That'll be knack number 32.
Page was that on? 264?
224.
Hey, good memory.
Depends on
Close.
your book.
Yeah. Should be 224 in Hero, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the Discord too. Save some seconds before we get to the action. Here you go. Next, some story stuff. Ichor for blood. Chemical analysis of your blood would reveal it to be of an indeterminate type, highly unstable, deeply toxic to humans and other mammals. You bleed bright red unless you're actively manifesting your omens. I said legend, I meant omens, my bad. In which case, your echo reveals its true, bright, shining golden color. You can use ichor for various derived magical effects, though many of the religions in the game have a deep taboo against blood magic, except when it's highly ritualized. Also, an ear for prayer. In addition to the auditory feedback of Scent the Divine, you also can hear a constant low susurrus of prayers directed at your pantheon. Occasionally, you can distinctly hear particularly heartfelt or desperate prayers at the pantheon or the purviews, or even by a specific worshipper, which would allow you to gain a slight sense of the worshipper's location if I allowed it. Those two things are mostly story, but when you're role-playing, you can keep that in mind. Defense. The defense stunt, slightly updated. As per the original wording, defend generates successes, which an opponent must overcome in order to inflict an injury. This total is equal to successes rolled plus 2. If this roll gets no successes, your base difficulty is just 3. You never present less than 3 complications to get hit as demigods. Increased durability. As your ichor strengthens your physical bodies, you all gain an additional bruised injury. You can add that now. And last but not least, Divine Resonance. Any time you make a defense roll, if the pool has divinity dice, which we'll get to in a moment, it automatically is 9 again instead of 10 again. And you cannot have a mortal failure when rolling defense. Which again, you'll find out what that is in a minute. Immortal skill. When describing a defense action in which specialties might apply, add enhancements is normal. This is not a normal rule, but it's standard in Demigod and can also be applied as an optional rule in Hero or Origin. Which means normally defense action doesn't benefit from specialties. It can now, if you think they apply. Divinity dice. As a reflection of your divine strength and growing godlike nature, you gain access to divinity dice. On the sheets, you'll notice there's a spot for them at the bottom. Whatever number of dice you put in there will subtract from all of your rolls and show as a separate result, so you can tell which is which in the roller.
Divinity dice?
Yep, at the bottom.
Oh,
It's underneath taken out.
Rolling these dice alter the outcomes of your successes and failures, turning positive outcomes into explosive, immense results, sometimes more than you wanted, and imploding failures into terrible, horrible doom. So your ones are even better than.
Yay!
Besides altering the narrative framework of success and failure, you can also flood the pool or intentionally supercharge your actions with pure divine power. When you flood the pool, a number of new powerful stunts open up. So, you can never have more than 10 divinity dice. When the session ends, if you still have divinity dice, they persist to the next session. They replace normal dice. So, for example, if you had 4 divinity dice, and you made a skill roll and your skill pool had 8 dice, 4 of them automatically become divinity dice. If you roll later, and the pool has 6 dice, those automatically get 4 of those automatically get replaced with divinity. This continues until you end up rolling a pool containing nothing but divinity dice, then you drop to 0 and start over. So either your dice pool equals your divinity dice, or you flood the pool, which means you're only rolling divinity dice by choice. To gain divinity dice, whenever you perform a marvel, you get a divinity dice. Whenever you perform a feat of scale, you'll get one. Whenever you resolve a deed, For good or ill, you'll get one. And whenever you use your virtue, either side of the sliding scale, you'll get one. Once you make any roll consisting entirely of divinity dice, it resets to 0. So, whenever divinity dice are in the pool, the catastrophic successes and mortal failures are shaped by your purviews. So we will pick, at the time of the rolling, which purview applies the most, and then describe it thematically that way. I can also choose to fate bind you as a result of catastrophic success or mortal failure. Because as demigods, it gets harder and harder to extricate yourself from fate binding. Mortal failures cause your divine nature to falter. If the roll fails, and any of the divinity dice are not successes, it's a mortal failure. In addition to the roll failing, something relevant to the purview goes wildly out of control. If a roll succeeds, and no divinity dice had successes, or if a roll fails, but the divinity dice had successes, nothing spectacular happens. Succeed or fail is normal. Whenever you use virtue to add dice to a relevant roll, which will come up in a minute, these are automatically divinity dice. Anytime you use your virtues now, they're divinity dice. And of course, catastrophically succeeding, same thing but opposite. If you succeed at the action, and some or all of the divinity dice are successes, catastrophic success. Flooding the pool. Once per session, if you have 3 or more divinity dice, you can flood the pool, spending a basic action to fill yourself with pure divine power. You cannot do this in a mixed action. It has to be a standalone action. The next roll you make is entirely with divinity dice. It grants you access to some stunts that I'm going to drop in the chat for Sean to pin. But they are a divine effort, which increases your scale by 1 per 3 successes that you spend, which stacks with any other source of scale to max at +5. Divine Revelation. For each success you spend on that stunt, I give you a clue for the procedural you're in or any futural scenes. And you can add die to the collateral pool. So, this game has momentum. It also has collateral, which we'll get to later. Kind of like Doom and Conan, but not. Basically, you're creating drama when you add to the collateral pool later. It's also a new form of risky die because you're demigods that we'll also talk about. You can also spend 1 success for the stunt Wave of Power, which adds the Shockwave tag to any attack you spend the stunt on. If it already has the Shockwave tag, it escalates to Brutal. This also adds dice to the collateral pool. Wonder and Awe. People or creatures observing you become enthralled by your display of might. They become temporary followers or creatures with a rating equal to however many successes you spend on the stunt. This could also be a good way to pick up new fate-bound people. Questions on those? These are pretty self-explanatory. Font of Miracles! Demigods don't struggle to perform miracles nearly as much after they achieve dominion. With casual effort, you can manipulate the inherent magic of the world with an ease that reflects the divine being you are becoming. You can perform any minor or cosmetic miracle relevant to your purviews, with no rolls and no legend imbuing. Example: Demigod of Water, fill a canteen. Demigod of Passion, make everyone in the room happy just because you're there. These casual miracles do draw the attention of onlookers and stir the hearts of the mortals. So, I may fate bind you for that. But it's still fun, you should do it. Performing casual miracles. Casual miracles are always minor effects, tiny, impossible feats performed easily. They're meant to showcase your magic and bring a sense of wonder to the game. Players who use these to spam a potentially useful minor effect, I'm going to banhammer you. Not going to happen. These are for fun and to make the game exciting and magical, not to press the digitation every round to get a cool effect. Mechanically, casual miracles do not need stats, do not roll, and do not require a concrete effect. So, like, you want to conjure drinking water and turn it into wine, and your purview says it should happen? Okay. I'm just going to let it happen. If it does end up needing some kind of mechanic, I will assign up to 3 enhancements to any relevant rolls, or up to 3 complications to an opposed roll. It does get kind of a wavy line between casual miracles and marvels, so we'll just deal with that as we need to. The book shows 5 varying levels you can set the game at, from hard to easy. We're really down far on them. We're just here to have fun, stat. I'm probably just going to let it happen more often than I'm going to make you roll dice or spend stuff. Casual miracles and mortal failures. In some instances, the result of a mortal failure might read like something that can simply be dismissed by a casual miracle. If you try that, you're going to get told no. Sad face. Casual miracles do not override bad effects of a mortal failure. Legend! Your legend rating is now 6. Many things are about to happen. You went from 1 to 6. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Scions and Gods are empowered by Divine Legend. That's what it's their fuel source, mechanically speaking. But thematically speaking, your deeds shape the world around you, and all the tumult and conflict surrounding you as fate acts to shape your power creates your legend, your divine identity, ultimately your mantle when you're a god. So, anything you do that's truly superhuman costs legend. You can either imbue your legend or spend it. When you spend it, it goes away from your 6 points until you can renew it through a variety of methods. When you imbue it, you assign it to that power, and it stays there until the power ends, and then you get it back. That's the difference when you hear those words. So, you have a pool of legend points equal to your dots. You have 6 fuel points, basically. Each rank of legend also has a rating. I put it somewhere else in the document, but I'll tell you where you stand at 6 and what that means for your standing in the world thematically. And the legend of 6. Scions of 1 to 4 are heroes, 5 to 8 are legends, 5 to 8 are demigods, 9 and upper gods. So, every time you get a new dot of legend, you get a new boon. Also, anytime you get new boons, you can toss your old boons out, change them all to new ones. That's why I told you not to worry about that last second thing. So, that's the first thing, and we're not going to jump right on those yet, but you can start making notes that you will need 5 new boons. Also, when it comes to knacks, your knacks are, your legend rating controls how high your calling can go. Oh, nope, I've got a mistype. I apologize. 5 new knacks, not boons. You get 5 new knacks. That's me, not the book. As far as boons, you do get a new boon for every dot of legend past 2. Means you get 4 new boons.
Numbers.
Now, to recharge legend that you spend, not imbue because it doesn't go away, it's just temporarily unavailable. You can either have an appropriate sacrifice or accept fate binding, or occasionally there's a few other methods. But basically, whenever you accept a fate binding in accordance with calling, it gives you legend. Whenever you perform a minor or major sacrifice, you recover legend. For you, this involves making a ritual offering to your divine parent or the Pantheon as a whole in a holy place or shrine in accordance with the Pantheon's motif. A ceremony takes a scene to complete, but it could take a lot more than a scene for the sacrifice as a whole. At the conclusion of the sacrifice, you regain your points of legend. You can also do this when your legend pool is full to immediately get a free point to spend or imbue. Temporarily, it goes away. Minor sacrifices you can only do once per arc. So basically once for this story. You can do major as much as you want, but major are obviously harder. And I will make you roleplay it because obviously you can't just. I'm gonna sacrifice this flower. This is good, right? No, it's got to fit the motif of the Pantheon. A minor sacrifice usually can happen off-screen or between scenes or in downtime, because it is things like garlands of flower, leaving a cigar at the crossroads, that sort of thing. Major sacrifices, you've got to either find something truly nice and special and important to sacrifice. Also, no human sacrifice. Sorry. Okay. At this stage, so that I can get a drink, feel free to add your boons and enlighten the audience. You don't have to read the whole thing to them, but I'm sure they'll be interested in knowing what your boons are.
Next.
No, we're actually going to do that in a minute when we get to your callings. We can do the boons now, of which you should have 4 more.
For a total of 8.
Oh.
Oh?
Damn it, Dwayne.
No, Dwayne didn't change anything. I just realized I can't send you off to buy boons without giving you the potential demigod boons.
Oh, thank you, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Damn it, Dwayne. Good job.
I did the thing.
F and Dwayne.
Ah, best. You. All right, you need to relocate. Go away.
No, get on his desk and sit on the keyboard, please.
No, she likes to sit on
Yeah.
top of my feet and then stab them with her claws.
Well, you deserve it. It's a cat, so obviously.
Yeah. Duh.
That shows
right.
affection.
I just
Yeah.
fed her to the husky.
They trust you.
Your husky is broken.
Yeah, I know.
He
Most
has a
huskies
husky
are
that
broken.
doesn't make noise.
My husky doesn't make noise. She doesn't howl. She doesn't cry.
She does
barks
make
if we
You
pitter-patter
sure
with
it's a
her
husky?
feet.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, Dominion
He's just
boons. Divine magic comes easily to demigods, and its abundance uplifts those around them. So, rather than 50 new discrete powers with more expensive legend costs, Dominion boons transform you into a Nexus power, which allows you to convert stunts to the entire band and allied Storyguide characters. The followers, guides, creatures, and your buddies can benefit from Dominion boons.
Where are those?
I'm actually going to share them with you, depending on calling. Somebody has beasts, right?
No.
Or beauty. I don't think anybody took those. Oh, we got a chaos in here. So. For Devin. So that's a handy list, Devin, of casual miracles you can do. How catastrophic success and failure will probably work. And fancy new stunts. Sean, do you have death? You had death, yes.
Is it calling? Or purview?
As a purview.
Yeah, death is one of my
Okay.
purviews.
God.
Come on. Got this act over the acrobat. Sorry, stand by. My PDF reader is not cooperating, so I'm actually just going to send you the document. 1 second. Ah. There. They start around page 35 on that. Much easier than fighting with this thing.
Good, here we go.
So, it works like this. You can buy hero, or you can buy, not hero, you can buy regular boons from the hero book that you already have access to, or you can also use one of your new boon slots to buy Dominion over a purview and get the cool stuff that you can see in that document I just sent you.
So you can buy the Dominion stunt?
You can buy Dominion, which gives you access, right, to the stun, correct.
Just that one stunt?
No, the list.
Or all,
Yeah.
all. So I can buy Dominion. How much does Dominion cost versus...
Dominion is essentially one boon,
Okay.
and it grants new stunts. Instead of a specific boon that does one thing, it's a stunt list.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So how many boons do we get to pick?
4, in addition to
4.
what
Is
you already had.
Is there any
Oh,
reason
yeah.
not to just pick Dominion over anything we already have?
No.
Not everyone has 4 purviews. For you, no, there is no reason. But not everyone has
Okay.
4 purviews, so they won't be
yeah, I've
able
got
to.
like 2.
Right. Your mask gave you a lot of purviews.
Oh, can I pick Dominion over the purviews from the relic then, or just the ones that are?
You can pick Dominion from your relic purviews, yes.
Okay.
I was not told otherwise, so I'm going to say yes.
Oh, I'm taking that. Exius friend. Oh, where am I going to put that at? That's the
And-
question.
So the audience doesn't get bored while you do this, I'm going to read about your new fun pool of dice called Collateral.
Oh, that just sounds fantastic. Why are you back? Go away.
Worship that cat. I find the page, stand by. Reload all my PDFs. So much doom.
When I get down to the basics of it and I look at my character, I have made a necromancer monk.
So, also,
That's
Dwayne,
pretty much what I've made.
since we're on boons, Dwayne, whatever your relics or companion creatures or guides or any of your birthrights become Demigod with you, you get free stuff. So I built all of your birthrights to be 9 points worth to reflect the increased power level of Demigod.
Okay.
But you also get a few free points worth, which you can use to add another purview. We should do that now.
To add another purview?
But because it's coming from, your companion would teach you the purview. But because it's coming from your companion, and your companion is a Kitsune. It's a Kitsune or Kitsune? Help me out here.
Kitsune.
It has to be something that applies to the Kitsune. So, like, illusion as a purview or box.
Even if it's not one of my purviews?
Right. That's what relics and guides are for, is to provide you with purviews that aren't yours.
Okay.
It's one of the many things they can do. So the way that works is you have access to the purview now. You get the innate power, and you can do the whole list of things we're going to go over in a minute that we went over the other day a little bit. The marvels and all of the cool side effects you can add. You can do all of that within the purview. But if you want a specific boon, you still have to buy the boon.
Okay.
You can copy boons with marvels. But just jumping ahead a little bit. So one of the other cool things you get as a demigod is any purview that you have dominion over. You can now access all of the boons under the purview without the increased cost of using a marvel. Basically, you can do marvels without the extra cost. So, like, a hero could copy a boon he doesn't have in his purview by spending an extra legend. You can just spend the base cost.
Oh, okay.
Now that applies to you, Dwayne, because for this particular story, that particular power I'm going to leave to your Pantheon purview and your God's purview. I'm not going to say you can just do all the cool stuff from your relics for free. So you still want to buy boons from your relic purviews. Or from your, in your case, from your Guide's purviews. And for people watching at home, I kind of built Dwayne kind of a hybrid somewhere between a Guide and a companion. So his Kitsune actually travels with him and does stuff, but is also a Guide. Okay, collateral. In games of enormous power and massive effect, there is some expectation that buildings will crumble, crowds will scatter, and havoc will be wreaked on a huge scale. As you ascend to new untold levels of power, your ability to contain collateral damage lessens. You are no longer merely heroic mortals, but halfway between mortal and god. At this level, I will include the collateral pool to represent the high-stakes dangers of throwing around divine power. At the start of any campaign, or in this case, short story, the pool begins at 0 dice. Whenever your characters take any of the following actions, I'll add a die to the pool. The pool builds until it hits 10. When it hits 10, any additional actions add enhancement. Also, this carries over, it does not reset at the end of the session. At the end of any round, in combat, or after all of you have taken your actions outside of combat, whichever of you caused the pool to fill, then rolls all 10 dice, and I pick stunts based on your successes. Stunts are Echo, which alters the field with an aspect of your purview, the roller. Building might sprout flowers, a road might become a river, trees turn to metal sculptures, and those changes persist till the end of the scene with all of the inherent chaos that will cause. Harm. Either a major character is hurt by an environmental disaster you caused, or the power unleashed causes injury to any number of trivial bystanders. Civilians. Insight. Onlookers turn against you, furious at you for wrecking everything, making your social interactions a nightmare for the rest of the session. Pin. A massive piece of rubble falls either on a major character or a whole bunch of bystanders, trapping them until they're rescued or break free. Raise. Destroy an object in the field, probably something big. Rift. An aspect of an overworld, underworld, terra incognita, or other cosmological place suddenly appears, sucking up part of the field and displacing its reality. And it's me, so stuff will definitely come out of the hole. And Scatter. All trivial or non-magical targets, including followers and mooks, flee out of terror or self-preservation. Even well-drilled military units would run. No more allies. Here's the list of things that causes you to build this pool. Performing marvels, performing feats of scale, making any roll enhanced by scale, rolling a pool with divinity dice, failing to buy off complications, certain stunts which will be noted, and bad guy flares and abilities. In other words, it's going to happen all the time. So which one did you pick, Dwayne, so everybody can know while we're waiting? Which purview is your Kitsune going to teach you?
So you've got it as illusion, seduction, and trickery.
Okay.
But I don't see those as purviews.
Some purviews, everything works as a marvel, so it doesn't list boons. Illusion is one of those. I thought trickery was actually had some boons listed, though. Could be wrong.
Unless this doesn't go in alphabetical order.
No, it does.
It goes from S to W.
It might be in the other book. They cross over sometimes. Find out. I do not actually have what, where.
It does go from
memorized.
SW. Crap.
Also, you may want to look in the Pantheon purviews. It could be a Pantheon purview. Seduction probably isn't going to be, but trickery might be. I do not have all the sources memorized.
Wait, did you say trickery purview? Because that's the calling, not the purview.
Oh, you might be looking at the callings. Illusion and magic are purviews, though. They don't have any associated boons.
One that I couldn't find was the actual purview for the Pantheons. Because unless it's there and I'm just blind.
That is in the origin book on page 1.
Sorry, let me rephrase it. The Dominion part of it, if there was one.
That is, I remember this one. That's on number. I was just looking at it like 5 minutes ago. Oh, yeah, it's Origin 171. 170, 171.
Got that book, Devin?
172. 173.
Okay.
I guess it depends on what Pantheon. Okay. I have so many books open.
So which four did you take, Sean?
So I just took dominion over everything.
But you have 5 purviews, so which 4 did you take?
So I took dominion over everything because rules mean nothing. So I just took an extra boon. So death dominion, epic strength dominion, epic stamina dominion, and epic dexterity dominion. But there's this cool thing in epic stamina where basically you can just cut a promo on somebody and just keep talking endlessly.
There is,
If
yes.
they're trying to
It's
like
amazing.
gain advantage on you, you just cancel
Monologue.
cancel it all. It's great.
Also, while you're searching, I said earlier I would tell you the thematic version of your current legend level. Legend 6 is considered not that. Also not that.
Deception.
Sorry, that was a response to a Discord thing that I saw. Alright. Iconic! You become a permanent part of your Pantheon's mythos. Even outsiders, like denizens of forgotten Terra Incognite, may have heard tales of your deeds. Your symbols adorn t-shirts and traditional jewelry. Families might make pilgrimages to see your birthplace. Gotten anywhere with yours, Devin?
Yeah, I think I'm just taking the gambit of dominions as well,
Okay.
which would be fire, epic strength, chaos, and deception.
Nice. In your case, Dwayne,
I saw in the chat that there is no trickery, however, there is deception. So I'm going to add the deception purview.
you gonna take Dominion, or are you gonna take some boons?
Well, so if I take Dominion, is that like all of them?
Right, and that gives you access to that as a thing. Correct.
Because I'm going to take the Dominion, Fertility Dominion.
Okay.
Definitely. Because that's got some cool stuff. I touched this flower and everybody died. But that
Did you
only
say
counts
everybody
as one.
dies? Yeah, you're a necromancer.
That only counts as one, right?
Right. That would leave 3.
3 more. So my Kitsune has trickery, deception, so I'm gonna take some boons out there.
What about you, Tim?
Well, I've only got 2 purviews. So
Yep, so you need 2 more boons. Wait, no, you have 3. Your relic
I've
gives
got-
you order.
I already had order.
No, you had 2. You did not have order.
Oh,
You had
I'm
your
sorry.
pan-
No, I had my Pantheon specific and war.
And now you have
and then
order.
I have
That's
order.
3.
So I'm gonna take Dominion for order and war.
Okay.
And I don't think you can take Dominion for your Pantheon specific.
Well, you can, but there's no, like, the document we have, because, it's still manuscript, doesn't have everything that might be in the final book. So,
Right.
we would use our imagination to make cool shit happen if you took it.
Sure,
it,
why
would, it
not?
wouldn't be
We'll
worthless.
We'll take
Oh.
Dominion of weird.
Oh,
You could still find ways to do marvels that apply to purview, that fit with the purview. And you would still get all the other cool things your purview could do, and you would get the marvel without the extra cost of the marvel, which is the point of having Dominion.
Sure, then we'll just take Dominion of those 3, and I'll take one of the boons from my Pantheon specific. Other one. That's all I got left.
So there's a question in chat for you all.
Oh,
Any of you got any Pantheon specific boons or knacks? They're specifically asking about knacks. Knacks usually come from callings, and there weren't any Pantheon specific knacks in the new document, but there are Pantheon specific boons.
Yes, I have 2 of them.
yep. I now have 2 of them, and Dominion over my Pantheon specific purview.
You can what?
I don't
So
know.
yeah, if you have any for your Pantheon, tell them what they are and what cool stuff they can do.
So I have appeasing the kami, which is pretty much like feng shui. I can talk to things, all the things. And then I also have the watchful spirit, which allows me to invoke the kami in a object and find something. Like if I'm looking for someone specific, I can find them, and then it tells me telepathically where they are. Since I have picked up the deception purview, I'm gonna take the Dominion. Why not?
Right, so yeah, I'll take that.
and because it just sounded so cool of we're just gonna make
Yeah.
our specific our Pantheon specific purview into a domain. I like that idea rather than epic strength. So I'm going to go with that too instead.
I think we can leave epic strength safely in the hands of our luchador for his kicks.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was like, it's got some cool stuff, but the idea of Pantheon-specific Dominion sounds pretty fun.
I concur.
Is there a Pantheon specific Dominion?
There isn't there isn't
RPG.
one listed in the document we have, but you can still buy it, and we'll make it happen.
Yep, that's what I
So
did.
instead of a list of new boons, you would have. We could make up some stunts that fill the format, or you can also do marvels without the extra cost of a marvel, so just make Pantheon-related magic happen. So if it fits the purview of the Pantheon, then we can turn it into a marvel. It'll happen without the extra cost that you would have at the hero level.
We're just gonna trailblaze it.
Yeah.
Basically, at the Demigod level, if you have Dominion over the purview, anything you want to do with the marvel simply costs imbuing a legend, nothing else. You don't spend it, you don't double it, you don't need your enhancements anymore. Just imbue a point of your legend, and done.
I love the Dominion over War stunt. That's fantastic.
Okay.
Hold on.
Uh-oh. What you find, Sean?
So the Death Dominion just is awesome. It's just the best.
Yes.
So casual miracles. Kill anything trivial instantly. Hey, shrub. You're dead.
Best luck here out there.
When your legend passes 3, one other thing happens. You get an omen. An omen is a cosmetic supernatural effect that marks your divinity whenever you imbue or spend legend. So, flaming eyes, flocks of ravens appear, something without true mechanical weight, though using stunts is appropriate for them. But the omen manifests whenever you imbue or spend legend. You also gain a +1 enhancement to the attitude of any worshipper of your pantheon. That's at the hero level. At Demigod level, your omen is always on unless you specifically suppress it, which you can do for only one seed at a time, and not back-to-back. So what's the Luchador's omen?
I was reading about the god, and the obsidian butterfly has these black butterfly wings that are like flaming and also embedded with like obsidian glass. I felt like that would be a cool thing to have.
Okay.
I'd probably have to suppress that a lot, I feel.
Any ideas, Dwayne?
Well,
You gonna scrout a whole bunch of tails?
that's what I was thinking, but I don't want
You
it
have to make
be...
it more epic than that, though, because Kitsune we already do that on their own, so you gotta ratchet that up.
And they have like their own, like it's their own power. They get
Right. What about our car from the World Tree Werewolf?
I was actually thinking about actual like plant growth on my person.
He sprouts little
So
flowers
you
from the top
sprout-
of his head.
Okay.
Think more like Green Man.
And no, yeah, at this level, it's not going to be flower. It's going to be his whole body, yeah.
Yeah.
Great, so we've got Groot. Awesome.
About you, Ever? Any ideas?
Dude.
Oh, let's see. Mine was. So we're basing these off of purview. Yes. No. Yes. No. My character has a really nifty Pantheon specific purview, and I think it's just in the new material.
As far as
It's
I know,
called-
yes.
Yeah. It's called Pachakutik, and it scroll. The Apu and their Scions call upon the cosmic energies that flow through the Wakas, Seis lines, mountains, their followers' sacrifices, and the stars themselves to fuel their prodigious powers. They summon fire to warm mortal followers or turn it upon their foes. Lightning heralds much needed rain for crops or is woven into clothing. Earth is summoned to reduce opposing strongholds to dust or drawn into the Apu's very being to make them hard as stone. The Apu feel the energies glowing through every stone, tree, mountain, vista, and star, changing and being changed by the Apu in an endless cycle of birth, death, and renewal. So that's pretty freaking cool, and so much can be done with that. I don't even know where to begin, but possibly traveling the energy lines themselves, becoming energy and traveling those lines rapidly instead of having to journey somewhere.
That would be a power, but not an omen. An omen is something that happens to you that makes people know you're divine anytime you spend your fuel.
Oh no. Okay. Something that happens.
I sweat rice.
No. Denied.
Delicious.
He sweats delicious rice wine. We all sit there with
Now, because
Oh
you
my
sweat it
God.
out, is it already like?
it's fermented. It's sake, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already been cooked.
We just run there with shot glasses and collect it.
All right.
We pack it
Oh
up and
God.
put some sushi on it.
Oh my goodness. So an omen.
Oh, look at that. There's a recommendation in chat that's cool.
Oh, that's freaking cool. Okay. Whoever you are, Salosinilian? Am I saying that right?
That would have been my guess.
Suggesting the mystical lines appearing on my skin like magic, like mystical tattoos.
like
or-
the
yeah.
Nazca lines.
Yeah. Except they glow like a ley line would if it was real and you can see it. Probably
they
like
do.
some kind of blue or purplish color, but you can make that up how you want.
That's
Nikki,
pretty
got it.
badass.
This is hard.
Thank you, Nikki.
You could have rice hair.
Rice hair.
Somebody said that in chat. Creepy shut-in.
Rice hair.
I mean,
Can I just say I like that username?
Rice hair. I'll go with that.
you could even go with the whole plant. Your hair turns into the plant, not necessarily little, like harvested rice.
Yeah. I
Just
don't mean
rice
like,
plants growing out of your body, as creepy.
Yeah, like
just
like
said.
the actual sprout.
Right. Maybe have it move around so, it's more than just plant change. They wave around.
Yeah.
It's kind of sentient rice that
Blow
grows
in the
on
wind.
you.
Because normally I'm bald.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
'cause he's
that
a
works
monk.
good then.
So
You suddenly get
create a miracle and then I sprout it, boop.
He gets these little fox ears and
foxy.
rice hair pops out.
They're onigiri rice fox ears.
Oh god.
So, Tim, what do you got? And yeah,
Um,
the fox ears could be added. You can have both.
God, so that's hard. I'm thinking about maybe just my my right hand like glowing
Oh, I'm gonna need more than that.
really bright because Tyr had it. Because since I'm a scion of Tyr, he lost his right hand.
Your right hand disappears.
I kind of need it.
You have a floating right hand of Tyr that's...
I just have a hand on my shoulder, like thing.
No.
it turns,
Tyr's
like-
missing hand manifests around your person.
No.
Maybe it turns like astrally. It's still, you can still use it, but it's like,
But it's like crackles with like
So I'm kind of gonna
White,
steal from
yellow.
Celtic.
Be left-handed, and it wouldn't hurt you as much. Go ahead, Dever. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Carry
Oh,
on.
it's all good. So there's a suggestion in chat, but I'm going to tell you this really fast. I'm going to steal from Celtic mythology and say the hand of Nuada, he had a silver hand. Maybe your hand turns gold or silver when you use your
That's
powers.
not bad. That's not bad. My hand turns kind of like a silver with all Norse runes on it.
And then Mistrich
And
says,
Virgasir like blows up on my top of my hand.
Blows up.
No, like it shows up like a tattoo.
Oh,
in the
shows
metal.
up. And then Mistrich says, "What about wolves howling?"
I thought about that, but I was like, that's cliche. Because
Sure, but why not add it and make it a whole thing? Because then
Yeah, why
it's
not?
more
What-
noticeable than just a hand.
All of
yeah,
the
we'll
above.
do that too. We'll do that too.
Your hand
I like it.
howls.
My hand howls, right? My
It
hand
would
turns
seem to
silver-
originate from your area, yes.
Yeah, my hand turns silver and a wolf head pops out.
No.
Of your
No,
howls.
no to the wolf head, but I was with you up to that.
How about a wolf appears on your hand in addition to the runes, and it
Yeah.
moves and howls.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah, that works.
I like it. We'll just smash everything together and make one.
Omen's done. Okay. See if I can power through this so we can get an hour of role playing
I better write that down.
or more. Yeah, should probably write that down before we all forget. Virtues. All Scions have a virtue track. You can see it on your sheet. You'll notice that it's got a spot for a word on the left, a spot for a word on the right, and dots in the middle. And I have filled in the very middle dot. This is a track. It slides back and forth. We didn't have time to touch on this for those of you who haven't played Scion in our pre-session, but basically virtues are a reflection of how the metaphysical traits of a pantheon are usually riven or stuck between two things in mythology. No, often more than two, but definitely two major moral or philosophical points that always are the bane and boon of that pantheon. This represents that. Whenever your virtue has a dot on its track, meaning it's slid one or two to the left or one or two to the right, spend virtue. It counts as divinity dice, and it grants a number of additional die per point of that track to augment a roll that applies to the virtue. If you go too far to one, then you become opposed to the other. So you can either choose to just stick with one virtue and stay there, or you can try to maintain the balance. It depends on how you want your demigod to come out. They're relatively philosophical, but you can take actions deliberately in support or service to them. And when you do, that makes the track move, and when you hit the far end of the track, you gain the virtuous condition. Basically, it gives you somewhat of a limit to acting freely, but it also infuses you with power. I'm dropping the condition in the chat so it can be pinned. So every point of momentum you spend to augment a roll with the virtue receives an extra die that doesn't come out of the pool. However, you must continue to act and fulfill that virtue, and you cannot act against it. So, if you slide yourself all the way to one side, that's what you are now. If you don't want to do that, try to stay in the middle. And the way you do that is act against the one to move closer to the other, and then constantly go back and forth. So you're not sucked in too far to one side or the other. Questions about that?
Do we need to choose our virtues?
Oh, yeah, I have what they are. That every pantheon has them. The Aesir is audacity and fatalism. Every Aesir is doomed to die, and even the newest members wed themselves to the dire fate the Elder Gods will meet. Ragnarok comes. Yet, is not the greatest heroism to be found in the darkest of moments? You vacillate between railing against your fate and succumbing to the gloom. The one word is audacity, one's fatalism. Fill it in. That's for Devin and Tim. Dwayne, the kami is sincerity versus right action. All things have a place under heaven, and all things must be done with a full and sincere heart. However, sometimes the right thing is at odds with your wishes, and sincerity is difficult to achieve. Is it Teotl or Teotl? Ever?
Seems to be Teotl.
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 Teotl is hunger versus sacrifice, Sean. Your pantheon hungers. During the 200 years when they ruled, I do not know how to say Tenochtitlan either. Help ever!
Where is it?
No,
The capital
Tiklan.
city
Yeah.
is Tenochtitlan.
Okay.
But they said, They consumed massive quantities of flesh, blood, and fire. Their empire's warfare practices based around capturing sacrificial captives to kill and offer to the ravenous gods. But for one to eat, another must be eaten. For one to have, another must give something up. The Apu is duty versus ambition. The Apu were not called forth from the darkness to sit idly by and watch the world pass before them. They are dynamic, ambitious, and absolutely confident in their purity of purpose, emerging from the caves of origin to sweep aside their foes and build a world free from anarchy and disorder. However, not every Apu is content to let Inti reign forever, pointing out that it was his Scions infighting that led to the Empire's demise. The Titans were quick to recognize this flaw, and quietly whisper into the Apu and their Scions' ears, always tempting, always pushing into greater feats of glory, always encouraging them to reach just one rung higher on the social ladder. So, those are your virtues. They all start at the middle die, meaning you're not attuned to either. Callings! So, human beings are vast and contain multitudes, but not so the gods. My dog is lecturing us. Who by their very nature are archetypal beings, warriors and heralds, tricksters and psychopomps. From a certain point of view, a god is nothing but her purviews, reflected through these archetypes, refined by legend. That may or may not be true, but the gods have difficulty thinking or acting out of character. Right, Holly? Odin is a leader, a sage, and a trickster, but without some fundamental shift in his nature, he will never grow to encompass the role of lover or hunter. His role is defined, his dominion is assigned by myth and the weight of his own legend. He is a god of sacrifice because he hung from an ash tree. He is a sage because this ordeal gave him wisdom. You, as Scions, feel the pull of these rules. So, it is different for you, though. Where the gods are defined by the myth cycle that gives them form, you as Scions, at least at your levels, are still human, capable of defying your own archetypes or even changing them altogether to make your own. So, this is reflected as your callings. As you know, we picked from the list of callings that came from your divine purviews. You were able to select from the list of words to select what callings you had. At the hero level, you got 5 callings. And each calling has a rating between 1 and 5 dots. Currently you have 2 at 2 and 1 at 1. I think that's how all of you decided to do it. You also crafted 1 legendary title each, which defines the circumstances in which you can invoke feats of scale. So, this also defines your fate binding rolls, or the 3 that you have access to based on that calling. At legend levels 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, which means 3 times for you, you gain an extra dot of calling to any one of the 3. So you got 3 dots of calling, can't go over 5. At legend levels 3, 5, 7, and 9, you can reassign the dots, which you're basically doing now, so you're fine. But you gotta have at least 1 in each. And last but not least, for each dot of legend you have over the first, you get a new legendary title. So, you need to spend 3 dots of calling, and then you need to create 5 new titles.
5 new titles.
5 new titles?
I don't need you to do those all right now, but yes, by the next session you need 6 total. However, while I take care of Noisy here, you can tell the audience what your current first titles are each, and why you chose them. Starting with the Luchador, when you hear it, it should be obvious why.
It is El Pupo Morte, the undefeated. He's literally never been defeated in a wrestling match, so he almost was by his really bad rival, who actually cheated because wrestling is real, totally it is. So you know, he pulled some Montreal screwjob shit, and it was bad, and he almost lost, but you know, he managed to get out of it. So he's still undefeated. He's only ever relinquished titles.
What about you, Ever?
My character's legendary title is Speaker of Hope. The idea behind that is that being a university professor and being very much kind of a mediator for different cultures and wanting to repair the Incan culture and restore the deities to something a little greater than they've become, wanting to do that through negotiation and presentation, etc.
Dwayne.
I took Purifier of Heretics. Oh, ha ha ha. But not as like dark as that. Heretics being, you know, anyone who is not following the tenets, following and appeasing the kami.
Tim.
My legendary title is Sniper of the Damned. And the reason behind that was I was a marksman for a SWAT team and would wrench out justice with freedom seeds.
Freedom.
Devin.
My title is Antipod of Chaos. Antipode.
And what does that mean?
Because my character was created by Loki, who is basically Chaos incarnate, but created by pieces of the world tree, which is supposed to be highly ordered. My character is kind of very much against my creator.
You were torn inside.
I am,
His
in
feelings are
essence,
splintered.
created by Chaos, but
Nice. It's good enough
Yeah.
pun to break ever. Nicely done.
Yep. Yeah, so it basically means that I am the exact opposite of Chaos.
You know what's sad though? Sean wears Luchador mask. We can't see his reaction to puns.
It's the same as always.
I mean, an eye roll is an eye roll, right?
Oh.
No.
Disappointment
It's
and
different.
regret.
So when you look at your callings, you also notice when we created that they had adoption and failure, right? Deeds. That would be how you could drop a calling that you do have to grab one unrelated to the ones you have access to. So if there's a calling you really wanted that's not available to you, you can do a failure deed to drop a calling and do an adoption deed to pick it up. That's what those are for. In your case, since we're setting them up now, it doesn't matter, but in a long-term game, that's how you would change Storm, to get things outside of your access.
How many more legendary titles do we need?
One for each dot.
Okay.
You don't need them all by tonight, though. By next session, that might come up, though. Same for your knacks. If you don't have them all chosen by the time we start role-playing, you'll be okay for tonight. But next week, you'll need them all. Because I know you still have to pick more knacks, too.
5 next, right?
5.
Okay.
And no, it's
5
3.
next.
I was misreading, so I forgot to clarify that earlier. Basically,
Playing
every other
games
dot.
with my heart.
Every other dot you get one. You can have a number of knacks active equal to dots of calling. You could buy more knacks with XP, but I'm only giving you the amount you can have active to make it easy for this story. So when you're done, you should have either a total number of hero knacks equal to the number of calling dots you have, or 2 for 1 if you buy immortal knacks, or the document I sent you has the Dominion level knacks in that document.
Oh?
I am unsure if those are supposed to be 2 for 1 or 3 for 1, so we're going to go with err on the side of fun, and you pay 2 for 1 for those as well.
Sorry, I missed that last bit. Say that again.
That last document I sent you, that PDF, has Demigod level knacks.
Next.
They cost the same as Immortal for the purposes of this playthrough, but you may see when the book comes out they cost, 3
Okay.
dots. But we're going to do it as 2. So, you need 3 new knacks, and then you can add 3 new keywords, which may help with your 5 new legendary titles.
Yeah.
Your keyword list is still limited to the same lists, but you can get 3 more. So, the reason these matter, Whenever you attempt an action covered by one of your titles, meaning the words, not the meaning the legendary title, not the individual words. Whenever you're using the legendary title and we think the action is covered by it, you can spend 1 legend point to increase your scale by your total legend divided by 2, meaning you can increase the scale by 3 for a legend point, and it applies to any of your 6 titles. Juicy. You can also invoke your calling. When you attempt an action covered by a keyword but not a title, you can increase the scale by 1 for 1 legend and 2 momentum. That makes sense? We'll put that in Discord too.
Sure.
Fate Binding. Fate Binding is the thing that helps you the most and screws you the most. When you draw on the deepest reserves of your legend, sometimes nearby mortals get caught up in the story. Much the way an improvisational storyteller spontaneously weaves new characters in, fate decrees that that mortal has a role to play in your story. Mortal in question might become a bit player for a brief time, or a defining pillar for your character, as fate chooses an archetypal role and guides the fate-bound mortal into it. It's important to note this is not mind control. It does not override the mortal's free will or force them to do things they don't want to do. They're not puppets, so you're not the Purple Men. What it does is find people who are already predisposed to fill a particular role in your legend, and makes it very, very easy for them to go along with it. Someone fate-bound to a Scion as a paramour isn't suddenly struck with a compulsion to love the Scion. Rather, fate finds someone who is either already romantically interested in or attracted to the Scion, or whose type the Scion fits, and manipulates events such that they encounter each other in a setting conducive to furthering their relationship. Either party can turn away from the path if they have a compelling reason to. Think of it like going for a walk in the woods. If you're not consciously trying to get somewhere, you probably pick the easiest path. Fate just makes sure the easiest path is the one that leads to the fate-bound role. Once a story guide character has been fate-bound to you, that character enters a strange sort of realm where they're not quite full independent characters anymore. They can still take some actions. I might give them some dice pools, but they're not predefined like most of my NPCs are, because the main interaction is the fate-bound condition. They're giving you a condition that's positive and the mechanics to go with it. You cannot have more fate-bound conditions than your dots of legend, so never more than 6. Once per session, you can acquire a new fate binding if you have open slots to regain a point of legend. That's one of the ways you can regain spent legend. At the Demigod level, you still find yourselves bound to relationships with mortals, but those relationships are just as often whole groups or societies as not just people. You can also become fate-bound to mythical beings, and the biggest difference is that fate actively punishes you for trying to step outside of the fate bindings. So, once per session, you can invoke one of your character's current fate-bound role conditions for a minor benefit. If that fate-bound NPC isn't already present, it'll show up in the nick of time unless it's impossible for some reason. Once per session, you or I can compel one of your role conditions to introduce an obstacle or difficulty related to the fate binding. Make drama for you. You gain a point of legend back for the trouble. You can resolve a role condition for a more dramatic benefit than invoking. Resolving has permanent, long-lasting effects, either removing them from play, the fate-bound NPC, or changing the nature of the fate binding. When I say once per session, I mean each condition once per session, not only one condition the whole session. So, I'm going to put in Discord the actual fate-bound condition itself. And then the full list, because you all chose the ones you wanted to start with, or at least the basic idea we're going to use to create the NPCs. In the hero book on page 198, you can see the individual conditions for like the canary or the paramour or the rival and what you can get out of it, either by invoking the condition or resolving it. As far as the strength of your fate bindings, you each gave me 5, except for those of you whose relics were fate-bound. So, one's at strength 5, one's at strength 3, one's at strength 2, and the rest are at 1. So you can assign the dots to your sheets, and then I can look at them when it's necessary to determine drama. You don't have to tell me what they are, just assign the dots. 5, 3, 2, and the rest 1s. And again, you want to take the time to look at the conditions and choose before the next session, because we're not going to bring any fate-bound in tonight. You'll be fine. Or if we do bring a fate-bound in tonight, I should say, the level won't matter, because I'm not going to try to tear it out from you. I'll save that drama for the next session. Okay, birthrights. Now we get to have some fun. So we're getting close to almost time to start, so we're going to talk about the birthrights you were all given. One of you has a companion/guide, the rest of you have relics. Or no, 3 of you have relics, and 1 of you got an additional path as a birthright. Somebody told me there's a chat question. Yeah. If you do wish to become fate-bound to a group in the story, it will be allowed. At your level now, instead of an individual. So for instance, if you want to change, in your case, Tim, a military buddy who was your companion, you can change it to a squad here if you wanted to. Or who else is a good example? John, I know we took Worshipper out to replace for your relic, but if you put Worshipper back in, you could have an entire crowd of luchadors cheering you on. Or not luchadors, audience
Fans,
members.
man.
Yes. Correct, Devin. Okay. So we're going to start with Dwayne because he doesn't have an item. Tell us about your birthright.
Ah. Yes. Let me open it. Where did it go? There it is. All right, so Tyler created me a kitsune. I have a persistent condition, which is a fox with a lingering tail. She has a couple of different knacks. Dress for success, not a fighter, set the stage. You want me to go over all of these?
No, you can just describe the kitsune, and if you crafted a personality, you can tell them that.
I have not, but I'm thinking about it.
It is a kitsune. It can shapeshift with the tail stays. It can create illusions, and it's very good at social settings. It also grants Dwayne purview over deception. Devin, tell us about your path that you got as a birthright. Thanks, Dad.
Hey, thanks, Dad. I have the Therianthrope path, which is, in essence, I'm part werewolf, too.
Yep. We could describe all the stuff, but yeah, he's a werewolf. What was your trigger condition that you chose? Because it didn't have to be the moon.
Oh, yeah, I have to wear wolfskin.
Yes.
As long as I wear the skin of the wolf, I become the wolf. So basically, what is it? Ever? I'm the seal.
You're a
Oh,
selkie?
kind of like a Selkie, yeah.
Selkie, yes, like that.
Ever, tell us about your cool ceremonial knife.
I get a stabby sharp thing. I'm just kidding. It's much cooler than that. I'm just a dork. So, my
shanked in our sleep.
My sleep.
So, I have the Sacred Toomey, and it channels sky, it channels the sun, provides immunity to cold, removes the cost of flight, removes the cost of blinding glare, removes the cost of hope reborn. I can make it as epic as I want. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And if you look it up, there's actually pictures of what they look like, because they were actually a ceremonial dagger made out of like one piece of metal. Really, really intricate, really cool looking. So look it up, Tumi.
Tim, tell us about your gavel, which was fashioned on an actual gavel that exists in Northern Europe that is in use by the government.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That picture I sent you, yeah.
I have this, which is Tyr's gavel. It gives me access to the order purview and everything therein. And I can't lie while I hold this thing. So I can only tell the truth. And I am incapable of violating any of the worst crimes of the Aesir. And I can't even contemplate it. I can't even consider committing one of those crimes, which I probably wouldn't to begin with. But that is pretty much it. It's simple and effective. And I can hit someone with it.
So you don't have a Mjolnir, you have a Mjolno.
Yes.
And it doesn't look like that. It looks like a carved wolf head with the mouth open.
Is fantastic. It's beautiful, and I want to buy one. I don't know where I'm going to get it, but...
Now, yours did not have the Demigod parts added, so... And the thing that you don't have on your sheet is that if you strike the gavel on a surface in a field where someone who's violated one of the code of the Aesir, that list of things I gave you, is present, it will strike the ground with scale 3.
Oh my. Oh my.
And it adds the shockwave tick. And last but not least, tell us about the mask.
So the mask gives me, it's like what we said was carved from an old mask or something like that.
You told me. You got to tell them the story about why it's. That's another thing. Before you tell them, at the demigod level, you don't have to be given relics anymore. You can create your own. So we did that with Sean.
Yeah, I forget what I said now. It's been days and stuff.
You said that it was a family heirloom that you made.
Yeah, it was a family heirloom, and then like took it apart and then just re-added pieces to it to sort of fit my new motif of being an octopus of death, because he's like a submission specialist. So that's where he got his name from. And so it's it gives the purviews of epic strength, epic stamina, and epic dexterity, and that's kind of where he gets his awesome wrestling moves from.
Tell them what happens if you ever take it off.
I lose everything, and then terrible, terrible things happen to me.
He will start gaining escalating complications for every scene he does not leave the mask on. 2 each. Every roll.
Oh.
I sleep in this mask.
And
just glue it to your face, man.
As an aside, because we don't want people to think that's just a joke, tell them how the wrestling society your character joined actually works, and how this is a real world thing.
Oh yeah, he's part of the mascara culture. We're in Mexico. That's where it's big. You basically, if you become part of that culture, you put on the mask and you can basically never take it off. You like, if you go home and you're sitting drinking your coffee, you can, but when you're out in public, you're always supposed to be masked. The most famous one was El Santo, who was literally doing like soap operas as a masked character. Like it's amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, you watch it and you're like, WTF? And then when you figure out
I've
what's
seen
going on, yes,
I've seen it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes,
it's all comedy, stupid.
Yeah,
like,
him and his partner, like I think it was Blue Demon, used to.
Yeah, he's got like a red mask.
Yes, it's
I know,
pretty awesome.
Oh, God, I don't know.
There's others, but yeah, you're not supposed to take your mask off. Being demasked in a match is a terrible thing. It usually only happens. That's how you get retired. Is like your mask gets removed. WWE did a really shitty thing to Rey Mysterio where he didn't want to get it removed, and they were like, "No, this will be good shit." And
I remember that.
I remember that.
And
Too.
they forced him to remove it, and he literally had to go before a board in Mexico. Is like, I didn't want to do this. They made me do this. Can I please put my mask back on? And they're like, "Oh yeah, those guys are assholes. Sure, you can have your mask back." So it's a real thing, and it's a really cool thing.
Yeah,
and,
it really messed him up.
Yeah, and a lot of the masked wrestlers are some of the best out there. Like you can see the two brothers. There's Phoenix and Pentagon Junior, or Pentagon Black, depending on where he's at. They're like amazing to watch. It's really awesome stuff. Right?
I'm not a fan of
WCW.
regular wrestling, but I'm a fan of that. Yes.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff.
So, those are their relics. Those are their birthrights, not just their relics. Also, jumping back to something from earlier, I did find a reference. The Dominion boons, you are supposed to purchase one stunt at a time, but since this is a short game, you can keep them all. That way people can see what they do.
Okay.
Yay.
But
Actually, I
normally,
had a
yes,
question.
in a long campaign, you buy one stunt at a time, each stunt being a boon, essentially.
Well,
Okay.
I did have a question for you, Tyler, about the gavel.
Yeah,
Because you said it when if I strike the ground and there's
a
someone who-
surface. It doesn't have to be the ground.
right?
You could hit,
well,
you could hit
if
a
I-
building.
Well, yeah,
Somebody's
if I hit a
skull.
surface and someone is committing or has committed.
Has committed.
Okay, so it's not in the process of it's they've already done it.
Still counts.
Got it. Ooh, ooh.
Bang.
That's all right. That'll be useful.
Yep.
Now, if I throw it, does it come back?
No.
Damn.
No lightning either.
I have to chase it down.
Okay. Now, for the stunts that you have access to for the Dominion boons, you can only do one per scene. So, like, only one in a fight. You can't use them all in the same fight. If multiple players do the same thing, though, like if Tim and Devin did the same thing because they both did one from, say, the Acer
Right.
Pantheon, they would give enhancements to... You would get automatic enhancements. It's like a stacking effect.
Oh.
You can also pick which one you want to use during initiative. You don't have to wait. Or at the start of the scene, you can't do it once the fight actually starts. So either right before we roll initiative or right when we're doing the initiative, you pick which ones you want to activate for the team. Each of you. Questions on that? And no matter what purviews you bought Dominion in, you all have access to the one general Dominion stunt. Gift of Power. Grant one target within your perception of the same tier or lower does not share this purview with you the benefit of that purview's innate abilities for the scene. Questions on anything we did, because it's 11, so it's time to roleplay.
I have tons of questions, but that's for later.
Yeah.
Nothing immediate? Okay.
Oh.
Nothing immediate, just processing stuff. So
Yeah. A lot of changes with Demigod power level.
Yeah, I can click buttons, so we should be good.
Okay. All of you know of each other, obviously, because you're all demigods, rank 6. But you've not necessarily done anything major together. You could have done one or two things with each other in the past, maybe some of you, but not as a group, and no tons of time spent together. However, you all do happen to all be in Rome at the same time. What a coincidence. Definitely not fate. You're all here for different reasons. So we're going to start with... start using names now. Root. I don't know, is that how you want it pronounced? That is really close to Groot.
I am Root.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Root. Enlighten the audience as to why Root is currently in the city of Rome.
Well, Root is currently in the city of Rome on a completely normal reason. Root is a law professor was law professor before basically reaching demigod status, and is simply in search of some old Roman books on law. And, you know, where else are you going to get authentic Italian pasta?
Okay. You have a reservation. It's like 6 p.m. It's September of 2020. You have a reservation at a really nice restaurant. How do you show up?
Well, Root shows
This
up.
is a suit and tie restaurant.
Oh yeah, Root shows up in a suit and tie with long silver hair and looking nothing like Root because, as the daughter of Loki, she kind of has the ability to disguise herself at will. So currently, she just looks like a 50-some-year-old woman who's 6 foot tall, wearing full-blown suit and tie because why not? Hair slicked back and silver eyes, just because.
What are you wearing?
Suit and tie,
Okay,
like full-blown
not a
Like-
dress.
James Bond suit and tie. Yeah.
Nice.
Question.
A lady in a
Yes,
tux.
sir.
I'm for it.
Your character's pronouns are she and her pretty much all the time?
Yeah.
Okay, just wondering.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay. You walk into the restaurant. You're escorted to your seats. You've had time to order a nice bottle of wine and an appetizer. When suddenly, somebody from the other side of the restaurant bolts over and pushes into the seat next to you. And just stares at you. Big dopey smile on his face.
Yes.
Just keep
Do
staring
they
for a minute.
Do they smell divine?
No. Just keep staring for a minute.
How can I help you, good
Blushes furiously.
sir?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I couldn't think of what to say. I'm such a fan. He just kind of pushes his phone over towards you. Pictures of you having used this particular cover face before over the course of a decade. Like 3 times. Pictures each one.
Shit, why do I always use the same ones? I'll be right back.
Because you always go to the same restaurant.
I
You need to
walk,
branch out, dude.
I walk into the bathroom, and then I come back with dark brown hair, green eyes, and I'm not wearing a suit, and I am not a lady anymore.
But
But I walk out of the women's room
okay.
and walk back to the same seat. And look
That's
at
what
him
I was
like,
gonna ask.
And look at him like,
Click.
who are you?
Ted. You know Ted. I'm sure you heard of me. Yeah, you do know Ted. This is a guy who obsessively blogs about you. He likes to record all of your deeds, every single deed you've ever done, and then send you messages about how awesome you are. But on his blog, all he ever does is talk about how you could have done the deed better and compares you to others. Scions.
He's a shit poster. I'm your number 1 fan.
Notice me, senpai.
Can I just make Ted catatonic for the round? Or for the scene? With my boon overwhelming chaos?
Ted is, in this case, a the word is so mean in the book, and I can't remember what it is.
Oh, is he a fate bound?
No,
Worshipper unrequited?
no, he's the irrelevant. Not the word the book uses. Help, audience.
Yeah, I know what word you're talking about. But I can't think of it either. Mundane? No.
Yeah, there's a specific word in Scion for a bystander. who
Oh,
is-
trivial.
Trivial. This is a
There you
trivial
go.
bystander. So yes, you can activate a boon with no cost on this person.
Yeah, I just am like, you just stay right there and just think about that for a minute. And basically cause his brain to overload.
Okay.
So that he just is going to stand there like,
The waiter walks over. Is your friend like a glass of wine? Is your friend okay?
he does that sometimes. Don't worry about it.
Do you order for him?
Yes, I also take out his card and say he's paying for me.
Wow. Okay. So, your dinner is underway.
I thought you were anti-dad.
I still was made by Loki. There are some things.
Doesn't
that
mean he's
just-
lawful. It means
Okay,
he's
fair.
anti-Loki's agenda.
Yeah.
Fair.
Takahiro,
And it,
why are you in Italy? In Rome?
So I am actually on a case, if you will. There has been mass over the past 6 years. I've been on this case. There's been a mass black marketing of Inari shrine memorabilia in Europe. High money. And I'm looking for those individuals. Not very good at investigation, as you can tell.
Okay.
Walking around with the poster. Have you seen this shrine?
Yeah.
Are you subtle? Are you a subtle character?
Yes and no. Like I walk in the door slowly, but then I just stand there looking around.
Describe your appearance, including your clothing, and whether or not your
She
omen is
is.
suppressed at the moment.
Oh, it is. I thought you were going to ask me if my friend was with me.
Oh yes, definitely with your friend.
Yes,
Is
she
the tail
yes.
hidden?
Her tail is hidden.
Okay.
She is wearing a kimono. Full on, even in Europe.
If you're
Which
gonna hide a
makes me
tail, wear
stand
one
out
of those.
just a tad. But Takahiro is bald, kind of a mean-looking face, very, very stern. About medium height, a little athletic build. He is wearing a completely different country, but he is wearing the best of whatever Jet Li's black suit is. The no tie suit. So like, the button down.
But it's very Asian suit, right?
Oh
it's
yes,
culturally appropriate.
very
right?
Asian, but Jason Statham would wear it as well.
I know which suit you're talking about.
Very-
those
Yeah, I know what you're
those
talking
are
about,
sexy
yeah.
suits. Yeah.
They're sexy suits.
Like a cross between a suit and a gi.
Yeah, they're pretty. I don't own one.
So,
But yeah, wearing that, and then
what's
I
your
haven't
intelligence
given-
again?
what is my intelligence? I am not smart. I am. Where is it?
Middle. Attributes are in the middle.
Middle 2.
Okay. Not 3, yes. So basically, what's been happening is you've been shadowing this guy for the 3 days you've been in town. And then ultimately the people this guy went and worked with. You're pretty sure the first person you were following was the black marketer, and now you're hoping this will lead you to his suppliers. Right?
Yes.
You didn't pick up on the fact that these are mobsters. Sicilians. And you just
Yep.
kind of walk into their bar.
They're just
Stand there in the
guys.
doorway. A whole room full of tough, mean-looking Sicilian gentlemen and ladies turn and face you. You realize your error.
Oh, was it an error?
Was it? Depends on how much chaos you want to sow. You don't smell anything divine.
No divine. Oh, I have something I can use. What is it called? What is it? Awesomeness. Hold on, give me a second. Oh, it's something that she had. Ah. Sorry, guys. I got like 8 different things open.
And sadly, you don't have anything in any skills that would tell you that if these really are Sicilians operating in
Yeah.
Rome, the local authorities would be very interested in that because they're
They would look like
technically in the
Oh.
wrong country.
Darn. All right. Well, Takehiro's. I'm just gonna continue to stand there. I'm not gonna move or do anything threatening. Just kind of like looking over, and my companion, who I have yet to give a name, I will have it by next week. She's gonna go use the bathroom.
Okay.
But when she comes back, she's not gonna be her.
Okay.
She's gonna use her dress for success.
Okay, what's that do?
When your companion disguises itself as a type of person by wearing appropriate clothing, like what these gangsters are wearing, others will not question its authority in that role.
Okay.
Whether it is disguised as a legitimate uniform or something you bought at a Halloween supply store.
Yep.
It's equally convincing while it wears it, but cheap or minimal costumes require you to spend a point of momentum to be plausible.
We'll say in this instance, it's not cheap. What does she change into?
What are these guys wearing? Like, are they just like the pants?
They're
and
dressed
wife beaters?
casually here. Yeah, well, no. That is an American stereotype, sir. No, they're wearing casual clothing.
I will have her dress similar to how they are, but maybe a little bit fatter with a cigar.
Is she a he now, or still a she?
She is a he.
And how does one hide the tail in regular pants?
In the front.
Down the pant leg.
Okay.
No, in the front.
What do you want her to say? Or do you want her to just stand next to you and you're going to say it?
I want her to come up and talk to me as if we were supposed to be meeting.
Okay.
So that we
Do you
can-
have anything that lets you understand languages that you don't natively speak? Or do you think that falls under your domain, your Pantheon's purview? I don't think that fits yours too well.
No, it doesn't.
So, they're talking in Italian to each other, a couple of them. They seem very confused. They're still looking at the bathroom. Where'd the other one go? They don't question this one, but they still wonder where the first one went. So what do you do?
So as we're acting like we're talking for like 1 or 2 minutes, I'll stand up, I'll nod and say thank you, and then go over and sit and I will sit down.
There are 3 separate groups of them. One are around, one are at a table, the other group's at the bar, and the third group, there's only 2 or 3 of them are just kind of hanging out in the back shadowy corner of the place. Probably the actual muscle.
Just sit at the table. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wise choice. Okay. They look up at you like, no one invited you. But they don't say that because you can't.
I'll say,
In what language? We'll say you know English.
I will actually first speak in Japanese.
They just stare at you.
Okay. All right. I figured I'd.
They look
Alright,
really
and then-
annoyed, but you feel like they're not saying anything because they're not sure about the boss lady, the boss gentleman over there.
The boss guy. All right, and then in English, I will say that your friend over there has explained to me that this is a place where I can acquire Eastern provisions.
Okay. At first, they refuse to interact with you until your friend actually gets up, walks over, sits down, and says, "Tell the man what he wants to know." And then a discussion begins about what exactly you're looking for. As that discussion begins, we're going to switch to Samyuk. What are you doing in Rome at this moment?
Well, Professor Samuel Rivera is being called for a consultation on some artifacts that are ancient history. He's got a knowledge of world artifacts, but specializing in South American. So he's got enough studying under his belt that he was called to consult on that.
Okay. You are in the museum. I'm refraining from being super specific about Rome, but somehow this classy museum is both simultaneously really close to that bar and that Italian restaurant. You are in the museum in the back, in a very quiet, large, open, dark space full of shelves of stuff in sealed display cases and racks where they keep all the stuff that isn't on display. It's a big, large metal table in front of you covered with cloth and covered with artifacts that are separated neatly with dividers, and there's tools everywhere, and you're clicking one. And we'll just say that's what's happening to you at this moment. Yours has no interaction. Eric, what about you? Well, don't tell them, just tell the audience what reason you're here for, and I'll explain what's happening.
Okay. I am here to take part in a marksmanship competition.
However, Eric has no disguises. Eric can suppress his omen, but he can't make his face look different, which means Eric cannot do a normal sharpshooting contest. You're in a Scion sharpshooting contest. You are currently, when the camera zoom starts real close to you, you're on a blanket, flat on what looks like gravel, your gun on the tripod, spotter next to you, who's your companion, doing wind readings, and everything's getting whipped by wind. Then the camera zooms out, and you're on top of a skyscraper. And it turns and zooms in on your target, which is 3 kilometers away.
Ooh, fun.
And you look over at your companion, and you're like, when do we get to the hard shots? So, how would you like, for the first actual roll of the game that needs scale, how would you like to enact not missing a 3 kilometer shot? Hint at scale 0, you'll fail that roll.
Yeah, right. Let's scale that a little bit. Let's go ahead and take that shot. We'll scale it up.
How? What method do you want to use?
Let's see. What do I have?
How can you tie this to a purview or a calling?
I can tie it to trick shot.
So okay. So you're just going to
Hang on,
use trick shot?
Let me double check that.
Okay.
I can use trick shot. Because there's so much stuff.
If trick shot, you don't think it'll do what you want by itself, don't forget that if you can tie it to one of your legends or your calling, you can spend resources to gain scale automatically. There's other ways you can't do, but that's the easiest.
Right, I mean, I can tie it to my legendary title.
Yep.
I mean, it is a sniper competition.
That's correct.
I am the sniper of the damned.
It's really easy in this case.
So I can just tie it to that.
Spend 1 legend.
Okie dokie.
Spend, not abuse, so remove the
Right.
use the box. Yes.
Where are you? Use the box. There it is. All right.
And now you have scale 3 on that shot. So now you can roll dexterity plus firearms.
All right. And what am I rolling?
Dexterity plus firearms in this case. Well, no, I apologize. We're going to do, because this particular shot is not about what you can eyeball. We're going to do, looking at your dots to pick a good one for you. I don't want to fail the first roll. Cunning plus firearms. Or, yeah, cunning plus firearms. That gives you 10 dice. You should be fine.
Well, even my dex is 10 dice.
Also, You've imbued, well, you haven't imbued, but you've spent legend, which means you now have 1 divinity dice. So make sure you put 1 in the divinity dice field.
A bottle of root beer.
Oh god. Ah. The wrong damn button.
What you need to do is you need to check the checkbox in the character sheet next to cunning, and then check the checkbox next to firearms, and then hit.
Good one. There they are.
And then on your quick bar, you'll see 1, 9, and 8.
Yep.
That means 10 again, 9 again, 8 again. So you want the first one.
Wait.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you want the first one for this. Right.
And then 1 divinity dice, you said?
Yep, make sure you add that, and then it'll do the roll properly. You don't have to do anything else but add it. Right now you have it set to 0.
Yep. Oh, I screwed that up. Why is this not cooperating with you tonight?
So, if you double click on the 0, it'll open a new box. Change the value to 1.
That's what I was doing. It wouldn't change it. It wouldn't give me up the...
It did it.
Just kept
It just
sending
did it.
There it goes.
Yep.
Okay.
Success.
Yay. Jesus.
Duh.
I kept double clicking it. It would keep sending it to you instead.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. It doesn't recognize it was a double click.
All right. All right, you want me to roll that again?
Yep, now hit the 1.
Okay, there we go. Jesus.
Go ahead and click delayed roll. Okay, no catastrophic success. That's okay. You got 5 successes without a catastrophic success is what that means. Because you rolled a 1, so you didn't fail. It means nothing.
Okay.
Well, you fire the bullet, and you know for a fact that's going to be a bullseye when it finally gets to the target. Last but not least, Octopus. Why are you here?
So, the Octopus is here to partake in a exhibition promotion here in Italy. They're trying his current promotion's trying to hook up with another one to get Italians interested in professional wrestling, which I don't think is going to work real well.
You never know.
Who knows? Like, but yeah, they're apparently fans all over the world, but we'll see. So, yeah, he's here actually in a wrestling match, and because wrestling is fake, a Scion can actually probably wrestle a real dude, or maybe like 5 dudes at once in a handicap match, which is what
like, because it's fake, they would throw groups at you.
Yeah, so no, I'm sorry, it's not fake, it's predetermined. So yeah, he's currently in a 5-on-1 handicap match, and it looks like he's losing, but he's about to get over and do his finisher, where he's about to basically submit 5 dudes all at once, using his finisher called the Cosmic Heat Death.
Okay, you want to try that just normal? I'm not sure if you should power that up or not. You don't want to kill the civilians.
You don't want to kill anybody.
Explodinate a bunch of people.
So it's just gonna be a normal.
Yes. Go ahead and do.
Okay, guys, wrestling's fake.
How does your finisher work? What's the move?
He basically like God. I meant to look up a couple of finishers, but I can't remember. We'll just go.
Is it like a
It's an epic chokehold of some sort.
Attached to a pile driver with a drop.
yeah, like the Zangief jump in the air, swirling
That would be a pile driver.
pile driver? Yeah.
Yeah,
No, let's call it
what?
the tentacle hold.
There you go.
So yeah, he is got like somehow between like 2 arms and like 2 legs, he's just got them all around their neck. And then he's like sitting on another dude and just they're all slowly getting choked out.
Okay, let's do a wrestling roll.
Okay. Which is athletics in this case?
In this case, yes, you're not trying to cause damage. It's a show, so it's going to be athletics plus might.
Might. All right.
In no special hope, because human wrestlers.
Where's the roll? Oh, that's right.
Yep, in the taskbar, yep.
Roll 9? Or
1.
Roll 10? 1. Roll 10 again.
Yep.
Okay.
You
4
don't have-
successes.
4 successes. You are being wildly successful. It's very entertaining. The heat is high.
Okay. No, it's the shine is high.
The shine is high. I'll figure it out by
Yes.
3 sessions in. I'll make a cheat sheet for that.
here.
When suddenly, in the middle of all of these buildings, because you can imagine that they are like spread out over a series of blocks surrounding a big area, it suddenly goes from bright sunny day to wildly overcast instantly, but only those of you near windows or outside notice that. So basically, Eric would notice, and Takahiro would notice, and probably Root, but not your other 2. And as the sky goes black, there's a massive crack like thunder, except it's got more resonance to it and it's a deeper tone. And a shockwave is released of just air, and it actually knocks people down and flings them back, pushes cars a little bit to the side. Those of you near windows can see this happening. And then, like, a ball of blackness just opens up in the middle of the street. It's about 20 feet high and about 20 feet long. You happen to be looking at it sideways, Root, and it's 2-dimensional. You can see behind it and in front of it. And this massive dark shadow pours out of it and slithers around the street, and the shadow rapidly expands to be the size of a decent-sized bank building. Not a skyscraper, but a decent-sized bank building. And bits of the shadow just start whipping around like they're protuberances or proboscis or tentacles, but it has no real form to it. And then pouring out behind it is what looks all the world like a bunch of silvery ghosts. Like they're silvery white in color, and their hair is blowing behind them, and they're desiccated, and their faces are open, and they just stream out of the hole. And they don't attack bystanders, they rush up to them and just touch them, and as they do, the bystanders immediately begin rioting. Like it's convincing them somehow to behave badly or commit crimes.
Do crime, save lives.
The 2 of you that are indoors, it takes a minute longer before you recognize anything, but then you hear the commotion. For you, Eric, your bullet actually hits the shadow and disappears into it and doesn't come out the other side.
Oh.
But it also doesn't do anything to it. It doesn't notice or react to you.
Oh. Oh.
And this is definitely your kind of thing. So you're all going to need to roll initiative.
It was cunning and what?
Your best combat-related skill.
Okay.
Close combat for you.
Yeah.
Okay, the actual initiative roll doesn't seem like it works, so.
Yeah, I got initiative of 0.
The initiative roller works once you select your... you got to check the boxes for this one, because it's not static.
So cunning and...
It didn't actually give me both.
Yeah, that's not...
It's only giving me...
Oh, I bet it's doing cunning automatically. Because that doesn't change.
Oh. So...
No,
let's try
it's
this.
not. It's
I
only
don't
giving...
even see
it's-
your roll. There we
it's
go.
Giving me cunning, but not the ability score that goes with it, or the skill score that goes with it.
Yeah, Sam rolling.
I don't think
0d10.
Can you pick a skill for?
So for Root, it rolled 5 dice. Your cunning is
Yeah,
5.
it should have been 9.
That means there's another field we're missing.
Yeah, I should have rolled. Wait.
Let's find it.
It rolled 10. It rolled 10 for me.
Oh yeah, it did work for Eric.
See what I get. Hey.
Hey.
Roll. What's your cunning, Takahiro?
4.
Rolled 5 dice for you. No, it didn't. It rolled 4 and exploded.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let me try this again. Let's see if. Nope, still didn't.
Yeah, because you got to roll. No, it worked for me.
Let's
Cunning
see if it's
plus
just the
skill, right?
let's see if it's the skill that I use. If for some reason that skill just wasn't working. Yeah, okay, so my close combat checkmark box didn't work.
Yep, we're missing the box. But how do you fix this? Hold on.
Yeah,
So I
close
have-
combat didn't work.
So it's pulling from bonus dice. Interesting. It's not pulling from the skill. Set your bonus dice to your skill value, then try it.
Okay.
Well,
Well, once I selected
bonus
like
dice is set to
athletics,
0.
it worked. It's like
Yeah,
close combat.
Close combat itself, I think, is broken because when I
Oh,
swap
okay.
to another skill with the same number of dice,
Put
it
that in
worked.
the Scion room, someone, and then we'll move on. So yeah,
Alright.
if close combat isn't working for you, switch to an equal skill. It does.
So my character, not being a fighty bits character so much, is cunning plus.
Whatever you think your best skill in combat would be, let's take a look.
Culture.
Survival?
hey, if that's the best you got.
Or persuasion.
Leadership.
Okay.
Leadership.
100%. Leadership.
Nice. All right, let's see if this works.
Thank you, Doug.
Hey.
4.
Salos Emilion figured it out already. Right, so it looks like my initiative combat thing is still rolling. Loading. Okay. So El Polpo got two successes. Sammy got 2. Ruta got 3. I feel like I'm missing people.
I got 2.
I got 5. What did I get? 5?
Yeah, you
Oh,
got
I had to
5.
scroll up for you, and Takahiro got 1. So you've tied for 2. And you got a 3, a 5, and a 1. Order yourselves the way you want. I will record it. 5, 3, 2, 2, 1. The creature got a 3. We'll go after whichever PC takes 3.
I will go.
Remember, first actually goes last.
No,
What?
first declares their action last.
Yeah.
They still go
Last.
first. They get to
Oh,
hear what
they're
everyone else is
first.
going to do before they decide what they're doing.
Oh,
I'm okay with keeping my 3 if anybody else.
I'll go sec. Wait, who goes second to last?
Nobody yet.
I'll go second to last. How's that?
Okay. No one wants to go first,
I'll go first.
Okay.
Takahiro go first.
and then you're good with being the other right after the monster ever. I'm assuming.
I'm
you're
still
good
on
with
a roof.
that? Good with that ever?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay. All right. El Octopus, tell us what you're going to do when it's your turn.
If I can find it, I think he's just gonna let those dudes go, leap out of the building, through the building probably, and then up into the air and try to punch the portal.
Okay. So, normally you would know what's going to happen before you if you're faster so that you can react to it. But none of you can react to that yet because none of you can see him. He's just like, people are screaming and there's explosions. I'm going through the wall. You'll see him after he does this thing. Eric, what are you gonna do when it's your turn?
When it's my turn, I am going to. I will take a shot at the tentacly thing on the ground from the rooftop.
You mean the shadow that's covering? It's covering a large area, but because it's a shadow, it's both on the ground and on the buildings and.
Oh,
on
it's
the
up on the
cars.
buildings now too.
It's covering everything its shadow can hit, and it's the size of a bank building. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I can take a shot at that since the shot at the portal didn't work.
No. You hit it before, not the portal. It had no
Oh,
effect.
it's that, not the portal.
Like,
oh.
it absorbed your bullet and did not react to the bullet, I should say. It has no effect. It had no noticeable effect.
Oh, I thought I shot the portal. I'm mistaken.
But you also weren't using legendary bullets. You're just using a regular bullet. You don't actually switch ammo. You just make the attack legendary, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do that.
So what you can do is you can... there are many things you can do, but one of the things you can do is you can imbue a point of legend to use one of the aspects of your purviews, your two main purviews, as an attack. So you can make the bullet that thing. But you got to pick one that's appropriate that we agree on.
Based off of a purview and not a.
You got very quiet, by the way.
Oh, I did?
There we go.
It's weird. And it would be based off of a purview and not the neck.
Right. You can use aspects of your purview to attack. So, like, it talks about how her Pantheon brings lightning and sunlight down. She could say, I'm going to view a point of legend, and for the remainder of this scene, I'm going to hit everything with lightning bolts when it's my turn.
Uh-huh.
Or Sean with the purview of death could say, I'm going to strike them down and make them collapse if I can, or some other effect related to death.
Ignore the two things.
Right.
I accidentally sent my name.
So in your case,
Okay.
you'd be looking at what can you pull
War.
from the Norse description, what can you pull from order, and what can you pull from war. War has a lot of aspects, but come up with something clever, I'll let you do it. That's how this is going to work. If it's clever and creative and full of magic, it'll pass.
Okay. Oh,
So don't just say it's a war bullet.
It's an orderly war bullet. It's numbered.
In this case, first time in this game and with us, I'll actually help you out. You could say, if you wanted to use order, I'm going to strike it down with the essence of law because it's causing all of that chaos and destruction.
Right,
I'm going to hit it with the opposite of that, using the order.
Yeah, because I was looking at the boons too to try and get a thing off.
Feel
of that,
for it,
too.
yeah.
Because I have Code of Heaven.
And I'm sure that Ever could toss a whole bunch of Norse ideas at you.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead, give him a
No.
couple.
He probably knows just about as much as me, considering.
I know,
of his
but he's mind blanking.
thing.
That's why I asked you.
Well, I'm mind blanking because I'm trying to combine all of it into one big, long,
Yep.
beautiful sentence. And I just can't wordsmith right now.
Gleipnir, that was the word, right, for the chains that bound Fenrir.
Yes. They were the silvery. It was the silvery chain that used the spittle of a bird. And,
The sound of a cat's footsteps.
Yep, the sound of a cat's footsteps and the breath of a fish, which was stupid. It used all the impossible things.
But
And
it's possible for you, so you could even push the rifle to the side and make ethereal chains come out of the sky and try to hold it down.
oh, all right. Well,
If
crap.
you think that's cool. It doesn't have to
Or
be in
you
your
could
rifle.
Well, if you wanted to use your rifle,
I
when
could
you
shoot
shoot the
chains out of the
bullet,
rifle.
it transforms.
Into a giant chain bullet and just
Right, and hooks it to you that way, and you're holding the other end of the chain, and now it's showdown.
There you go. There
Want
you
to try that?
go. Yeah, we'll try that.
Okay, so imbue a point of legend, which means check the box.
So.
The point of legend you had imbued for the other thing, you can release now because that scene ended. So basically, just leave it the way it is. You're changing what you're imbuing the legend point.
And take it again. Got it.
Now remember, your omen is out for all to see now too because you're using your legend.
Oh yeah, I figured at that point.
So when you stand up on the rooftop, anyone looking up is going to see you and hear the wolves echo across the city.
Giant silvery wolf arm.
And then, just roll firearms plus dexterity in this case because it's almost right below you. It's not counting anymore.
Oh look, it's the exact same thing.
Yep.
Come on, click the box. There we go. And roll 1.
Two successes. Nope, that was your initiative. I'm sorry. You're clicking your name, apparently.
What? Nope.
Oh no, that was Ever. My bad.
That
Nothing happened
was
to you yet.
that was me.
I hit the
You are
button.
not Sammy. You are Eric. If it didn't do it, there we go.
There it goes.
3 successes.
Hey.
Now, you do have a divinity dice, so hit that delayed roll see if you get a catastrophic success. Yes, you did!
Yes.
Points
Oh, boy.
have now gone into the, too many words to keep up with.
Momentum.
Nope. That's for
Nope.
failure.
Collateral.
Collateral pool, yep.
Collateral pool.
His divinity dice successfully worked.
Crap.
Okay. So you fire the rifle, and an ethereal chain that's bigger than the rifle shoots out of it with a hook on the end. Spins down to the ground and hits the monster. Everyone looks up as the wolves howl and your hand close.
Alright.
Also, I just realized I messed that up because it's the end of the night and I did a lot of talking. You were supposed to declare your action. We played the action out already. So your turn will be over when we get to you. Ever, what are you going to do when it's your turn?
Let's see. So do I need to use my action to get out of the building to come check out what's going on, or what?
You can do what Sean did, come through the wall.
Just
But
go
yes,
to a wall.
if you want to exit normally, yes, run to the nearest window, open it, climb out.
These are priceless relics. Why on
Just go
earth?
through the roof.
Oh yeah!
I didn't realize that you were the Kool-Aid man.
I'm not gonna Kool-Aid man this. My
Okay.
professor is going to exit the building properly to keep these artifacts safe.
Making sure the alarm's on and the gas is off.
Priorities. So, the shadow creature, from those of you who are outside can tell, looks like it's going to try to escape into the city. The ghosts are just having fun causing chaos in the street. What are you going to do when it's your turn, Root?
Is this the first or second floor? Or
You're on a
Oh,
first floor
whatever.
restaurant.
okay. I'm just going. Well, are there windows facing it? Is
Many.
that it? Okay. I'm just going to go out one of the windows if they're open, and if they're not, then
They are not, but they could be. Plate glass doesn't stop you.
yeah, no, it doesn't. I'm just going.
Everybody's
to
doing what
say,
Sean did.
Charge it to the card and burst through the window.
Everyone in the restaurant is looking out the window screaming except your dinner companion. And Dwayne, what are you going to do when you... Well, you're first. What are you doing?
So as I turn and look out the window and see all the ruckus that's going on, I will stand up very calmly, kind of like brush myself off, and say, I will return in one moment. I have something to deal with.
Tap,
I
tap,
start to
tap,
walk
tap, tap,
outside.
tap, 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 before you walk away.
Yes?
Tap. I wanna go punch it too.
You can come with.
Yay!
Ice cream.
Go to the bathroom real quick and change.
He looks at you, and he's like, why? And as you run out of the building, he changes.
Okay.
So, you can get out of the building as a move action because you're near the door. It's just a bar, and then still take an action. You can see giant shadow creature looking up at it, and you can see ghosts everywhere. You can't get into the middle of them from here, but if you want to do something from range, you could. Or you could spend the rest of the turn trying to get into the middle of the chaos.
Watch out for giant chains.
Yeah. That won't help. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and get to the middle of the chaos.
Okay.
Moving with deft speed.
You don't need to use any supernatural powers to move. You can both get there. Root.
My way.
You gonna try to just root out the window, or are you gonna throw some effort into it? Because plate glass, it's not sugar glass.
Oh yeah, I'll throw some effort into it.
How so? What of your many methods? And use an act, a boon, throw some legend into calling or your title.
Let me see. I'm looking at my paper. My paper.
You do a marvel based on a purview.
I have the perfect thing because
Okay.
it's one of the knacks I just got, which is escape artist, the trickster boon. I'm going to escape from the enclosure of the building by just... You're not quite sure how I do it, but I seem to literally slip through the crack of the window.
What's the cost of the boon?
Let me quickly look it up because it was on that paperwork that one we just got. Yeah, no cost. It just says that a standard prison manacles cannot contain you. Get out of any confinement. Doesn't list a cost, so
Okay.
it's up top.
Just needed to make sure for the collateral pool. But yeah,
Let me double check. I can imbue for scale. That's all it says.
you don't need to for this. You might want
Yeah.
to later, though. Okay. So, that's actually an action, so you use that to get into the street, and then you use your move action to move closer, unless you want to stay where you're at and just start there next turn.
Oh no, I'll move closer.
Okay.
But as I come out, since I've used a knack, I guess I'll just assume my normal form, which nobody has seen at this point in time, which...
Now, you didn't use any legends, so you don't have to, but you absolutely can.
Might as well, I mean...
Because
We're going to
you're
fight
using
something.
actions to suppress it, you can just release it, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. The giant shadow, the shadow moves across the city and away from downtown. The ghosts continue forcing, at least it looks like they're forcing the civilians to cause havoc. Sammy! You managed to get out of the building by going to the emergency exit and opening the door like a normal person. But you're not. And you see what's happening now. You can take one regular action from where you're at if you have something ranged you want to try.
Yeah, I'm going to try and dissuade the nearby people from rioting.
So first, your character is a very smart one. You would try to deduce why this is happening and what the deal is with the ghosts. So, go ahead and do academics, less intelligence. Intellect. We're going to call this reflexive for the purposes of this encounter.
Is that... Okay, why isn't that going?
There it went.
There it is.
Oh, that's movement. Click click one, the first one.
Okay.
It's a cool symbol to
there we
use for
go.
movement. Oh yeah, 4 successes. Okay. You can use enhancements on stunts, but rather than look them up, we can just say I'll give you a lot of clues because you only need the one. So you can use your enhancements to get more information in this case. Those are Mesopotamian ghosts. That's a Mesopotamian demon.
Oh.
More
You're in the
specifically,
wrong country.
it's very strange, yes. More specifically, this is a type of Mesopotamian spirit that is very restless when it's loose in the world and encourages mortals to commit crimes. That's what their purpose is. At least in, myth.
So it's perfectly okay to picture the Stay Puffed guy.
No.
Sure. What could go wrong?
They puff Marshmallow Man.
The demon, though, or the
Oh.
shadow,
I think of
a lot of demonic entities from that pantheon are just darkness, or forms of darkness, or shadow, so you're guessing that's what it is. But you don't think it's a Galu, which is the most typical kind. Something worse.
Oh, worse is always fun.
Yeah, so much better.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so...
From the size of it, it might be a Sog, which was an especially fierce demon slain by Ninurta, but with a relic mace in ancient history. It's probably
I
not
do
great.
not, in fact, have a relic mace, but I do have lightning.
But what it does tell you is the ghosts are the ones causing the people to do what they're doing. If you could shoo them, everyone would stop and like, what am I doing? Any clever ways to disperse ghosts? What does enforcing the boundary do? Can you twist that to what you want?
I could. Enforcing the boundary allows me to basically put a protective dome around anything that I wanted to. And I could.
Yes, I would allow you to use that to force the ghosts out from the barrier. Which, you're going to have to increase the scale by pouring some legend into it. So, what's your title? Speaker of Hope.
Yep.
And this looks pretty hopeless. I'd allow that. So you could spend one legend to increase the scale of enforce the boundary to protect the entire downtown area from the ghosts, if you want.
I would like to do that, yes.
Does that knack require any kind of dice roll or purchase? Most knacks don't.
You would ask me that. Enforcing the boundary. Let me browse through our previous conversations.
We will assume for this point it doesn't, because they rarely do. Knacks typically just work. But I'm just getting everyone used to looking. But for the purposes of this, we're going to say it didn't cost you anything except the point of legend, obviously.
it does not.
Also, this is going to make your omen happen because you spent legend, put some more points in the collateral pool, and make it look cool. So make a cool description of how it changes you and what the dome looks like, how the ghosts react as they're forced out. Give us something cool.
Okay, so picture the cartoon version of Atlantis. And basically my character, Samyuk's eyes glow a neon blue just across the pupil, the iris, the sclera, and when his mouth opens, blue light glows from within, and from the eyes creeps just lines, lots of geometric shapes, lines, very abstract, and it lights the whole area around him. And he places his palms out, and from the lines in his palms rise the boundary glowing that neon blue, and it just keeps expanding, pushing the ghosts away from all of the general populace.
I like it.
Thank you.
Eric, you shoot it with a chain. Octopus.
So, well, hold on.
You could probably use epic strength without having to spend legend points to increase scale to burst through that wall. You could probably just do a marvel from epic strength.
Okay, I'll do that.
So,
But
go ahead.
nah, so what I wanted to do was basically burst through the ceiling and then somehow use because you said there's an actual like monster, but it's a shadow creature.
Yeah, but you won't be able to see it till you're out of the building you're in because Wrestling Arena doesn't have windows.
Okay, so he would burst through. Is that? Can I still move?
So you can. So your mask lets you combine things. That's how we built it. So you could go on the assumption something bad's happening because of screaming and fires and explosions and whatnot. So you can use the free activation of Epic Strength, the power listed on your relic, to burst to do the burst, and then you could imbue a point of legend to do the leap. So you could leap through the ceiling, burst through it, and then land on whatever looks bad.
So what I wanted to do is like there's a falling star.
Yep.
Which lets me like run up a building basically.
Yep.
And then I wanted to drop down and then elbow drop this sucker.
Okay. So imbue 1 point of legend, which means put the box in. The second use is
Is it the circle, the box on box, or the box on the end? Which one should I be using?
Checking before I tell you off the top of my head.
I don't know if they do anything.
The box on the I see. Okay. Box on the left is imbue, box on the right is spend.
Okay.
That way you can tell the differences to the player.
Okay.
And then you should fill in 6 bubbles.
6 bubbles.
Yep. That way you can track how it's spent and why, so you know how to replenish it.
Oh, I already did all my titles, so.
Nice. Okay. So you use your mask to get the free cost to be able to punch through the wall using epic strength by emulating a boon with a marble. You run up the wall to get to the ceiling, punch through it, land on the roof, look down, see this guy shoot it with a magical chain. Yeah, you could elbow drop it. But next turn, because you use this turn to get that far.
Okay.
Round 2. Octopus is going to elbow drop. Eric, you're going to fire. You've got it on a chain. What would you like to do? You see another demigod burst out of the roof to a building close to you, and his omen kicks in. So you can see all the glory.
Wings.
Yes. And he leaps into the air with his elbow out. What are you going to do? You also see some... I apologize, Ever. You male or female? Oh! You're trans, yes. So, you see this person step out of the museum.
He.
What was that?
He.
You want he? Okay.
Yeah, the same as a he.
Got it. You see this guy step out of the museum, and he looks at the monster, and then he starts glowing, and like tracers of light shoot out of him. You heard the description of the omen, and then like this magical dome appears, and all the ghosts are shoved out of it and back into the hole. And then you see this other guy standing next to an Italian restaurant manifest his omen and charge towards the monster, and then you see yet one more last person. A guy and a lady, a guy in a real sexy suit and a guy in a kimono. Tail pops out of the back of the kimono because she's in a hurry, not paying attention. Sprinting towards the scene. What do? Seem to be a lot of you in town today.
Yeah, right? There's a convention, apparently.
Yeah, really.
You're very quiet.
They got really quiet on me again.
Yeah.
You and Steve, that happens to.
I don't know why. Weird.
Good now.
I have no idea. I'm gonna try and see if I can get the chain that latched. I'm assuming it latched onto this thing.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna try and drag it backwards towards the portal. See if that does anything.
Contest. This will be epic. You feel like you're going to need to power up your strength. You're going to scale it up. Mortal strength will not cut it here. You are allowed, as a demigod, to activate marvels from purviews you don't have access to if you think you can find a way to convince me they fit your purview. Or at least in the instance they do. Which means you could just do the demigod cost of imbuing a point of legend, get epic strength, if you can convince me where you're pulling that from in this case, which was real easy.
I am pulling it to order it back into the hellhole from whence it came.
Or, for
Because
more
it's-
dramatic impact, you're not going to lose this fight. Go berserk.
Not a chance in hell.
You're a berserker. Go berserk.
Yes. Just
So,
gonna
yes, roleplay losing your temper and deciding to yank this thing back into hell.
That's actually very easy for me to do. I'm gonna fucking rip this thing back. I will not lose this fight.
Okay, so fill in the left-hand box for your second point of legend because you spent the first one already. And then go ahead and make strength plus athletics.
Strength. Go with might then?
Yeah, sorry, might. I always say strength in every game. It's never strength.
And then 8, correct?
What?
I'm rolling 8 because I've got. Or am I rolling 10?
Oh, always 10 again unless we say otherwise.
Oh, okay. Got it. Ta-da.
And then hit delayed roll
Wow.
because you do have divinity dice. Nicely done. It is not catastrophically successful, but it is wildly successful. And in this case, we're going to say you use every one of those enhancements on the stunt to epic strength. To grapple. It's a grapple stunt.
Just pull this thing in like a fish.
Okay. And yeah, I know I did that wrong again, but I figured, we started a trend for the rest of this session. You do your action when I call on you. Ever! What are you
Sure.
going to do when it's your turn?
Just go with it.
Right. Go with it for the session.
So everybody's safe from the ghosty bits now.
Yes. And you see them trying to yank the Sumerian demon back into the portal.
I'm going to push it into the portal with some lightning.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, when it's your turn, you can check the left-hand box to imbue a point of legend, and for the rest of the scene, you can use lightning as your attack.
Okay.
And, Root, you are now there when it's your turn. What are you going to do? You're not exactly inside the shadow, because you instinctively know that's bad, but you're adjacent to it.
Well, am I able to touch it or no? Because it's 2D shadow.
You instinctively feel like, yes, you can physically affect this if you're using something divine, not just mortal hands.
Okay, so then can I imbue myself with chaos? Because since it's obviously not really normal 2D shadow, imbue my hands with chaos to basically make it more real in line with the laws of the current universe. In other words, it's a 2D shadow. It shouldn't feasibly exist without magic. Basically dispel the magic that is keeping it corporeal in our universe.
Not with chaos, because that would be law, but you have deception.
Yes, I do.
That would allow you to trick it into being real as an attack.
Tricking
So
it
yes.
into being real. Yeah, okay, that works.
Imbue that point of legend. The collateral pool is filling up nicely. I like it. All right. And then it is your turn, Dwayne. You were first.
Oh yeah, first goes last, or last goes first.
Yep.
All right. So
You've caught up too, by the way, and so is your teammate.
so these ghosts are done for good,
The ghosts are out of the fight, yes.
out of the fight for good. Now I was thinking, is this a way that I can break this game?
Probably. This game is meant to be broken.
Does my kitsune count as a charge?
Define charge in this instance.
Like-
Elaborate.
In my callings of guardian, all of my knacks have to do with like protecting a charge.
Yes. In
Like
that
a
instance,
person.
yes. You would want to keep this person safe. Now, mechanically, because you've made this Kitsune legendary, it's actually really hard to hurt it with the Demigod rules, but it can still be hurt.
Well, yeah, like she can't be hit if she doesn't fight something. Like that's one of her knacks. If
Right,
she
and
doesn't
as
attack, it won't. Nothing will hit her.
Right, and as a legendary creature, it also automatically has a number of defense. It's not exactly defense, but it basically gets a resistance rating equal to its dot rating, which is 9.
wow.
So you gotta get 10 successes to hit it even when it does attack.
Yeah, I just want to know if I could use it as my
Yes.
as like my focus to power up all my knacks, because then I wouldn't have to have another person around.
Yes, but there are a whole bunch of civilians here that are in danger even though they're no longer possessed.
Right.
Either way, you're good.
Okay.
It's more personal when it's the Kitsune.
So, where'd it go? All right. Yes, so I have a purpose. I have dedicated myself to the defense of my Kitsune. Therefore, I get a +1 enhancement to all applicable rolls.
Okay. So what are you gonna
during
do?
this action. I don't know yet. I was just reading. I'm like, wow, it could be like anything. You know what? Let's use some awesomeness. Let's see if this works, because we don't know. So the shadow.
Oh.
This 2D shadow, right?
Right?
I don't have any weapons. Where is my... I'm looking through my my Dominion stuff real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing really there. But I can use center of attention.
You want the demon to pay attention to you?
Being the protector that I am. I will say, come friend. Turn your eyes away from these people and come with me.
It's actually trying to escape. But you can still do this.
I'm not letting it.
Just change the line to, you'd rather stay and talk to me than leave, or something.
Yes. Lend me your ear or ears.
Or protuberances that
orifices.
channel auditory energy. Is that a knack or a boon?
That is a word. That is
Sounds like a boon.
That is a knack.
Oh, okay. So then you're good, yes. Let's go ahead and do a roll anyways to see how well you get its attention. This won't be a roll to activate. Activation is free. Go ahead and roll your choice of social skill with your choice of social attribute.
Let me double check. Read it.
Persuasion, subterfuge, leadership, or empathy.
Where'd it go? Where are you? Oh, there it is. It would. Okay, we'll listen to what you said. So what'd you say?
Pick a social skill and a social attribute and roll it.
So,
See how convincing you are, or
social
manipulative,
skill.
or charming, whichever avenue you choose, whatever
So for
approach you choose.
attribute. Here we go. Did that do it?
It usually makes you click twice.
Oh.
There it went. 4 successes. You did nothing to activate divinity dice yet, so yes, you're good. Okay. Root.
I'm hitting it with deception.
So you're using this as an attack, which means we're going to do a power avenue, power approach. So, do you want it to be presence or intellect? Might obviously does not apply here. Force of personality or logic?
Logic.
Okay. And then, let me check your sheet, decide what I want the other one to be.
Lying.
Probably, but I want to look anyways. No. Persuasion, logical argument. Specialty
Okay.
applies, so 5 dice.
Alright. So let me just add that. Bonus dice 1.
And are you going to imbue this, or are you just going to try it at its base level? It is supernatural either way. It's really up to you.
Imbuing.
Okay. So, put the right checkbox, and then the scale goes up by 3. And this applies to your title, so you don't have to. You actually get the ×3 instead of the ×1, and you don't need enhancements.
Alright, cool. And of course, my roll is awful.
Now, you
Well,
do
by
have 1
comparison,
divinity
for them.
dice at this point, but I'm not going to make you do it on the same roll. But from now, you can add 1 divinity to your divinity dice
Oh.
pool. At this stage, all of you except Dwayne should have 1 divinity dice. Ooh, Dwayne still has 0. Because you all use legend, yep.
I'm just walking out
Except
in
for
the street
Tim.
like, hey, I'm over here.
Except for Tim, who has 2 divinity dice because he used legend twice.
Oh.
So 2 Tim, 0 Dwayne, everyone else is at 1 currently.
Oh no. Crap.
Alright, 2
out
successes.
of 8 dice. That's my par.
You are, Devin, yep. The average.
Oh god.
Alright. I'm going to roll this big pile of dice and fail now.
Oh.
Because it has so many things preventing it from escaping. The demon shadow just kind of sits there. It doesn't spread over anything, and it doesn't continue forward. It's actually slightly sliding back now because it's not resisting Eric fully. Sammy! Your turn.
Alright, so my character has driven away the ghosties, mostly, and reaches to the sky, and you hear a crackle and you start to feel static crawling up your neck, and your hair slightly standing on end, and lightning arcs from the sky down to Professor Rivera's hand, and then he sends it out towards the giant floating monstrosity.
So, what you're trying to do, I recommend that you add Shockwave as a tag to this, which you can do, in your case, by imbuing a point of legend to this.
Oh, heck yes.
Because you're trying to push it, not just shoot it.
Okay.
And then roll. It's going to be stamina because you're trying to push. Trying to figure out what skill I want to add to that.
Resolve. Presence. Composure.
Sadly, this isn't Chronicles, so you don't do 2 attributes.
Sad face.
Yes. Skill heavy.
Science.
Academics.
Academics.
To hit it at the right angle, that's math.
I like it. This is brilliant. Four successes?
4 successes. Add your divinity dice.
Mm,
Well, I don't care about it for this turn, not this close to the end tonight, but we'll want it right for next session.
okay, so
Underneath your health, you'll see divinity. Yep, you did it. Okay. Eric,
Yes.
you're still imbued. So, let's berserk this. Do strength plus athletics.
All right. Make sure those are still selected. Athletics, might. Yep. Did it go?
Yep, roll your divinity dice also. Just click where it says, yep.
Oh.
Catastrophic success.
Oh.
And with that, the berserker jumps off the skyscraper, flies through the air, hits the ground, cracks the paint bit like the Incredible Hulk, and does a mighty yank. The demon slides, but it's still resisting. Until elbow drop time.
I've changed my mind.
Okay.
So he's going to do a golden triangle moonsault, where he's basically going to run.
Actually.
Yeah.
Uh,
So then he's gonna run, which then he'll have to then set himself up and turn around onto like an air conditioner or the ledge or something like that,
okay.
and then backflip off the building onto the dude.
I like it. Strength plus athletic, or might plus athletics.
So what I'm actually gonna do as well is, where did that go? Is your close combat in athletics? It's called Pistons for Fists.
Yep.
You 1 legend, so this is going to give me 2. Your close
More
combat and
collateral.
athletics attack rolls strike with incredible force. On a hit, you can either send an opponent flying, 1 range band, or knock him prone. And then there's other stuff, but that's the one I want to specifically do on this one.
Give yourself another divinity dice. You got 2 now.
I do. I already did it. So
And roll it.
Well, I'm sorry. You said roll
Might plus
might.
athletics. It's still a basic wrestling roll to land this.
Yes. And again, 5 successes. Click to roll the divinity dice.
Yep.
0.
Aw.
Boo. Lame.
Sean wants chaos. Right.
I do.
Yeah. Describe this perfect landing on it.
So he literally like runs, sets himself up on the ledge, backflips off, and then just like glides all the way down and just comes right down on top of it, which then the force of it somehow he like managed to angle it and like cause him to slide against the pavement towards the portal.
You land that just as the berserker does his mighty yank, and at the same moment the lightning hits and the shockwave pushes it, shoving it back through the portal.
Nice.
And when it hits the portal whipsaws shut. And you all, the 5 of you, look around at the damage. You didn't actually do much damage, but the monster did. You look around at the damage this thing caused, and the chaos of the people. And you look at each other, and you all realize you have common cause and a mystery to solve. That doesn't just happen.
Jinkies.
Yeah, let's go get in the mystery wagon.
So the camera will pan out as it's, does the spinning shot of the 5 of you look at each other like the Avengers. And that's where we'll pause until next Tuesday.
It's the 6 of us. 6.
Yeah, does your Kitsune really count?
No.
Movie. The kids movie.
I was just gonna say that. Dang it, Tim.
That's true. Well, denizens, you've reached the end of this session intact, but possibly fate-bound to our aspiring demigods. But have no fear, we will spin this tale every Tuesday until this story reaches its epic conclusion. But we're not quite done tonight. First, all of our games, we let every player vote for any other player in the session for any reason to encourage role-playing and teamwork. Votes in this game do not count for XP because it's a short story. So instead, you can either use each vote to gain 2 momentum freely used, or replenish 1 spent legend.
Huh.
El Octopus, who and why?
Who's playing? Oh yeah.
What happened?
We went a little late for Sean.
I'm gonna go with Dwayne in his Kitsune because that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the kind of.
You're all right, man.
All right, Dwayne, who and why?
I was actually going to go with the octopus for his epic somersault splash of death.
Golden Triangle Moonsault. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Devin.
I'm gonna go with Old Man Moonsault because I had to
Man.
look that up.
I put
Ever.
a video in the channel, so
Yes, you did. Ever.
I don't wanna. Oh goodness, no. Crap. I'm gonna give it to Tim for being the noob. He did really well and flowed with us nicely, especially for his first time. My first time role playing with Vorpal Tales was not that
Oh,
smooth.
yeah, you are the new guy.
I know he
Noob.
just
Because I'm here every night in the chat room. That's
Well,
why.
yeah.
it's like we forget that you're the noob now because you fit right in. It was
I
perfect.
just flow.
And Tim.
So, yeah.
Oh, sorry. And Tim.
I'm actually gonna give it to Ever for the badassery with the Atlantis thing, because that was a hell of a reference, and I got it, and that was really damn cool. Get rid of all
Thank
of those
you.
things in one shot. So that was badass.
Excellent. I was going to use Sean's line, but I couldn't remember it. Awesome being excellent to each other. That's it.
Yes.
Heroes, tell us what you're up to after this and where these people can go watch you next. And don't say you're going to bed. That doesn't count.
And Space Lord PJ is going to bed.
Fired.
And then
Fired.
Actually, listen here.
tomorrow I'm not playing, but good luck on doing the hunter stuff. Thursday we are
Because we killed you.
You didn't kill me. He's still
You're
alive.
dead
It's
to me.
fine.
Is that what you think?
Yeah. No, because it's your game, which means he's a tentacle monster now, so it's fine. Everything's fine. Thursday we're playing Descent in Avernus. That's the last game. We're gonna end that sucker. We're gonna go out hard and fast and explodey. And then Friday playing in the Conan game. The guy who wants a third of everybody's stuff. So yeah, should be fun.
Not only does he want it, he usually gets it.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what I do. So you know.
Ever.
Yeah, okay. So you can find me on the internet as Changeling Ever. And after tonight's compliment on my username, I take it as a compliment. On my username for Twitch, I might just keep it as Vorpal Changeling. That was great. I sound terrifying and I love it. I'm living for it. So you can find me playing Animal Crossing, but don't find me because my island is puny and I'm very slow at it. You can find me tomorrow night playing my wonderful darling changeling Reese in Hunter the Vigil, one of my most favorite games that we play. Thursday night, I will be haunting the Avernus chat, and Friday night, I will be playing the Shield Maiden / spiritual person thing, Freya. And then Saturday and Sunday, I will be hiding from society because introvert mode.
Dwayne.
Dwayne, also made of kimchi on the internet, will be sitting at his computer for the next couple hours tonight, looking at clips for yesterday's video of Mage. So if you guys did watch that and you have any like, ooh, that was really cool, hit us up in Discord, and I will make sure that everyone else shares in your joy. Then what? Tomorrow I'm not playing, but I will be watching. Thursday Avernus, Friday Conan as Einar the Despicable, who should have died on the boat in the first game.
Don't sleep in the crow's nest. Devin.
Einar was honestly absolutely hilarious, but Patty, that was amazing. You can find me online at Sorta Sullied, and you can find me here tomorrow night playing Kyle, the Spencer Reed-esque psychic who spends too much time reading other people's minds. Well, now he doesn't have an old man telling him not to. But I will be prowling. What's the other word for hanging out?
Lurking.
Lurking, yes,
Hey,
lurking.
yeah, lurking.
I'll be lurking on Friday and Monday as well. Other than that, I will be, as always, playing Breath of the Wild because I might be a little obsessed. Little.
Jim!
You can find me on the internet at Othellos. I will be back here next week on Tuesday night for more Scion, and who knows what else next week comes up. After this, I will be playing Ark Survival Evolved and just watching all the terrifying things that happen to me as I try and survive, running naked and scared.
I myself... Oh, sorry. Denied! Go ahead.
But, yep. So you will find me there.
I myself will be running Session 3 of Hunter the Vigil 2E tomorrow. Let's see how the party reacts to mourning the loss of one of their cell. Thursday, one more time with Rivik. Friday, I'll be running Conan, Adventures in an Age Undreamed of. All they have to do is cleanse the ghost ship of its curse and then sail it. Monday, Maids of the Ascension 20th Anniversary Edition, Session 9. Chaos in the Infiltration Mission. They James Bonded like a Masters yesterday. Let's see where they get to next week. And then back to Scion again on Tuesday of next week. Come check them all out.
Today's Tuesday.
By
Don't
the
forg-
way,
Yes.
for any of you who follow our Twitter, I have started to live tweet some key moments in our game. So if you want to retweet those, typically I aim for the funny stuff. But if there's something huge and awesome and dangerous, I will totally do that too. So if you want to remind yourself of the hilarity that happened or the drama, I'm your person.
Also, don't forget to check out the Kickstarter for this game. As you can see, it's hella fun, even though we didn't get very far yet. You'll get to see us try out lots of stuff next week. It was funded in 2 hours, and it's blowing through stretch goals because it's hot. If you have not already, please go check it out. It's well worth your time. Remember, follow Vorpal Tales and the Onyx Path on Twitch. Two channels. Head over to YouTube for past episodes, like and subscribe, and leave comments. Go to vorpaltales.com, find the link to join our Discord and hang out. And then check out our Patreon if interested at patreon.com/vorpaltales. All your support in any form helps us keep this going. Also, go check out our good buddies Gehenna Gaming and the Kickstarter they're supporting for a fantastic operatic style, very dark and gothic setting for Dungeons & Dragons. It's very unique. It's pretty sweet. We will continue forging a new legend for these 5 demigods next week. Until then, don't stop moving. Good night.
Good